Chapter 40-20. Kong Shinmu's guess was right. Zhang Rong was indeed the only dragon martial artist who managed to escape from the sealed dragon abyss. Even the dragon martial artists from the northern chill dragon country knew about this. However, because Zhang Rong was just a small fry, no one really cared about this. Kong Shinmu transformed into a black divine dragon and carried the frost divine dragon with his dragon claws all the way back to the sealed dragon abyss. He felt the frost divine dragon trembling non-stop. "Didn't you say that as long as I tell you the legend of the sealed dragon abyss, you'll let me go?" "You believe that? You're too naive." Kong Shinmu smiled faintly. "You'll die a horrible death." The frost divine dragon immediately shouted. "My companions have already returned to the northern chill dragon country's scout camp. They'll send someone to save me soon. I advise you to run away as soon as possible. Otherwise, you'll definitely lose your life. Is there any use in threatening me like this?" Kong Shinmu had no intention of retreating at all. He returned to the sealed dragon abyss as fast as he could. In the end, he discovered that a figure was climbing up the ice with all his might in the cold wind blowing from the sealed dragon abyss. It was Zhang Rong, who he had left in the small ice cave below the sealed dragon abyss. When he ambushed the 4 frost divine dragons, he temporarily left Zhang Rong in the small ice cave below the sealed dragon abyss. But now, he didn't expect Zhang Rong to have such perseverance. Under the cold wind, he continued to climb up the ice. If Kong Shinmu had returned a little later, he might have really escaped. "Want to run?" Kong Shinmu flew forward and grabbed Zhang Rong with his dragon claws. Then he flew downwind of the sealed dragon abyss. "You go down first and scout the way." Kong Shinmu had almost devoured the frost divine dragon's power. He directly threw it down the sealed dragon abyss. Then, he saw that the frost divine dragon couldn't fly at all and directly fell into the sealed dragon abyss. A divine dragon's roar came from the frost divine dragon's mouth. Unfortunately, Kong Shinmu didn't move at all. Soon, the frost divine dragon's figure completely disappeared in the darkness at the bottom of the abyss. Kong Shinmu also felt that although he could still use devouring power, this part was his innate ability and had nothing to do with the black dragon's consciousness. At this time, the black dragon's consciousness had completely fallen into a deep sleep and couldn't sense anything at all. This dragon sealing abyss is definitely connected to the black dragon's consciousness, but I don't know what the connection is. No matter what, Father is in this dragon sealing abyss. I must go in and take a look. Zhang Shunwu's expression was solemn. Since Zhang Rong was able to escape from that place, then I'm sure that I won't have any problems either. Kong Shinmu threw 2 frost divine dragons into the sealed dragon abyss. One was dead and the other was alive. However, nothing happened to them, so Kong Shinmu didn't waste any more time. Just as the northern chill dragon country's dragon warrior scouts said, their reinforcements would definitely arrive soon. If Kong Shinmu didn't hurry, he definitely wouldn't be a match for the reinforcements from the northern chill dragon country. Once he fell into the enemy's hands, the consequences wouldn't be much better than being trapped in the sealed dragon abyss. Therefore, Kong Shinmu carried Zhang Rong with his dragon claws and slowly descended into the sealed dragon abyss. "Kong Shinmu, you're really courting death. Don't drag me down with you." Zhang Rong roared angrily. His human form kept struggling in Kong Shinmu's dragon claws. Unfortunately, he couldn't break free from Kong Shinmu's restraint. Kong Shinmu had already devoured all the innate abilities in his body, making it impossible for him to even transform into a divine dragon. Now, it was even more impossible for him to break free from Kong Shinmu's control. "Don't move. If you move again, I'll throw you down first." Kong Shinmu was unmoved by Zhang Rong's struggle. He transformed into a pitch-black divine dragon and stared at the bottom of the sealed dragon abyss with his eyes. The deeper he flew into the abyss, the dimmer his surroundings became. Soon, Kong Shinmu couldn't see his fingers in front of him. Furthermore, the cold wind blowing from the bottom of the sealed dragon abyss was getting fiercer and fiercer. The frost divine dragon that was thrown down previously really didn't move at all. This made Kong Shinmu wonder if the frost divine dragon had fallen to its death? Or was it that the sealed dragon abyss was too deep, causing the frost divine dragon to not land? Or what accident had caused the frost divine dragon to die long ago? Kong Shinmu wasn't sure either, but he knew that he had to be careful. In next to no time, he seemed to sense an unusual energy surging up from the dragon sealing abyss below him. This is similar to the power of the space-time gate. Kong Shinmu's expression suddenly changed. Under the influence of this force, he would definitely be teleported to another place. As for where he would be teleported to, he had no idea. The power of the space-time gate felt much stronger than the one that teleported him to the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm. Even Kong Shinmu couldn't resist it. In just an instant, the divine dragon's body seemed to have passed through countless spaces. Vaguely, the fearful voice of the frost divine dragon could be heard from the surrounding darkness. It seemed to have also come to this space. There's no light in this space. I don't know what this place is. Kong Shinmu muttered to himself. He could feel that Zhang Rong, who was in the dragon's claw, was already shivering. Even though he had been to this place once before, he was still extremely afraid and terrified. Kong Shinmu, you're dead meat. Hee hee. We can't escape from this, hee hee. Zhang Rong shouted in a low, enigmatic voice. He had already been brought here, so he had no intention of leaving alive. He just wanted to see Kong Shinmu die here. Cut the crap. Kong Shinmu snorted coldly. With a flick of his dragon tail, he flew forward in the darkness. He naturally felt fear towards this darkness. After all, anyone would feel fear towards the unknown. However, the courage in his heart surpassed his fear. He had faith in his heart that he must find his father, Zhang Zizai. In the endless darkness, there seemed to be some terrifying existence. The frost divine dragon's fearful voice became weaker and weaker. However, its direction changed from time to time. It was in front, behind, and above. He couldn't figure it out and didn't know what was going on. However, very soon, the frost divine dragon was completely silent. Kong Shinmu also didn't know what was going on. He only knew that there seemed to be a voice constantly guiding him to fly forward. In the darkness, he didn't know how far he flew before he finally saw a glimmer of light. Although this glimmer of light was very weak, in this completely dark environment, even such a glimmer of light was extremely conspicuous to him. Chapter 40-21. When Kong Shinmu saw that ray of light, his heart suddenly palpitated. It was as if there was something in that ray of light that he cared about. It was a feeling of being connected by blood, which made his heart skip a beat. He wondered if his father, Zhang Zizai, was in front of him. He felt that the space around him had a faint sense of oppression, but it was not strong. It made him feel a little uncomfortable when he transformed into the body of a divine dragon, so he returned to his human form. With his current strength, even if he was in the form of a divine dragon, he would not be able to stop danger. In that case, he might as well transform into his human form and move forward. After Kong Shinmu transformed into his human form, he dragged Zhang Rong behind him and moved forward step by step. At that moment, Zhang Rong was already shivering. He did not seem to see the ray of light in front of him at all. His eyes were filled with despair, but they did not reflect any light. Could it be that I am the only one who can see that ray of light? Kong Shinmu thought as he continued moving forward. Soon, he realized that Zhang Rong, who was in his hand, seemed to be dragged far away by a force and disappeared from his side. Just as he became vigilant, the ray of light in front of him suddenly flickered. Then, a somewhat familiar figure appeared in front of him. It was a middle-aged man with messy hair and an extremely long beard. The reason why Kong Shinmu felt that he was familiar was that the middle-aged man's face was 80% similar to Kong Shinmu's. Father! Kong Shinmu's expression changed slightly. He hurriedly rushed forward, but he was quickly blocked by a ray of light. Then, he realized that the middle-aged man in front of him was trapped in the light by a force that condensed into chains. He was unable to break free, and the middle-aged man's eyes were tightly shut, as if he had completely lost consciousness. Shenwu, you're here. A voice rang in Kong Shinmu's mind, making him a little excited. He stared at the middle-aged man in the light in front of him. However, no matter how much strength he exerted, he could not break through the layer of light and touch the middle-aged man. This layer of light was obviously not a force that he could break through. You are, father? Kong Shinmu couldn't help but ask. However, he couldn't make a sound when he opened his mouth. He realized that he couldn't move at all under the light. He couldn't even speak. My name is Zhang Zizai. Shenwu, this is the dragon sealing abyss, and it has the seal of the ancestral dragon. The voice continued to ring in Kong Shinmu's mind. However, It was clear that the other party couldn't understand Kong Shinmu's thoughts. He could only tell Kong Shinmu some things and reveal his identity. It really is father. But what state is he in now? Could it be that he's imprisoned here by the ancestral dragon seal that he mentioned? Kong Shinmu's pupils dilated. He guessed in his heart, but he still couldn't say anything. The ancestral dragon's seal cannot be broken. You must leave this place and find the real ancestral dragon. Only then will you have a chance to save your father. As soon as he finished speaking, Kong Shinmu saw that the middle-aged man's figure in the light in front of him seemed to have become dispirited. A white light shone from the middle-aged man's back and completely enveloped him. Then, it dragged him deeper into the light and completely merged with the surrounding light. He disappeared from Kong Shinmu's sight. What exactly is the ancestral dragon's seal? Jiang Shenwu was completely confused. However, before he could figure out what was going on, his entire body was pushed away by a force into the distance. Very quickly, even the ray of light seemed to have disappeared before him. As for Zhang Rong, he had long been dragged to some unknown place by that unknown force. Not long after, Kong Shinmu seemed to have stepped on something. His expression changed slightly. Then he bent down and touched it. This is Zhang Rong? Kong Shinmu's expression changed drastically. He reached down and touched the chest of the body below. Then, he felt a jade pendant. The shape of the jade pendant was the character Jiang. It should be Zhang Rong's body. However, Zhang Rong's body had now completely turned cold. In just a short period of time, he had actually died here. It was pitch black all around. Kong Shinmu could only rely on his senses and continue walking forward. However, he suspected that his current direction should be towards the outside of the sealed dragon abyss. Zhang Rong was dragged away by a mysterious force and died inexplicably on the road. As for Kong Shinmu, he saw that Zhang Zizai, who was imprisoned in chains, did not seem to have been killed by that mysterious force. This made him a little puzzled. Could it be that his father, Zhang Zizai, had already controlled a part of the power of the sealed dragon abyss, but he was still unable to escape? What kind of existence was the ancestral dragon's seal in the sealed dragon abyss? It should not be used to seal Zhang Zizai. Could it be that it was used to seal the power of the black dragon's consciousness in his body? There were too many mysteries in Kong Shinmu's mind that he could not solve at the moment. With his current strength, he had to leave this place first. This was because he felt that from the moment Zhang Zizai's figure disappeared in front of him, there seemed to be a faint killing intent directed at him in the surrounding darkness. Moreover, this killing intent seemed to be becoming clearer and clearer. Zhang Rong's fear should be because of this killing intent, right? It can be seen that I am temporarily safe because of my father's protection. However, if I continue to stay here, I'm afraid. Naturally, Kong Shinmu would not joke around with his own life. No matter what, he had now seen Zhang Zizai's side. He could be sure that the scene just now was not an illusion. Otherwise, there was no way to explain the fact that he was still alive. Zhang Zizai was still alive in the sealed dragon abyss. Now that he knew this, it was enough for Kong Shinmu. As for how to rescue Zhang Zizai, he could slowly plan it after he got out. Kong Shinmu now had the black dragon's consciousness and the power of devouring. His strength would improve much faster than ordinary dragon warriors. Perhaps he would soon find a way. He ran forward as fast as he could, leaving Zhang Rong's body behind. Along the way, his surroundings were filled with darkness and he could not see anything. However, he knew that there would be no problem running in this direction because this was the direction that Zhang Zizai had guided him to in his mind. Although Zhang Zizai's voice was no longer in his mind, Zhang Zizai's consciousness still existed in his mind, guiding him in this direction. Soon, as the surrounding killing intent became stronger and stronger, Kong Shinmu's speed became faster and faster. Finally, his whole body transformed into a black dragon and flew towards the sky. He saw a crack in the ice and snow at a very high place. There was light shining down from above. That is the ice canyon. Kong Shinmu's face was filled with joy. He flew up as fast as he could. However, in the next moment, he discovered that one divine dragon after another appeared in the sky above the canyon, and these divine dragons were all ice divine dragons. Chapter 40-22. As soon as Kong Shinmu saw so many ice divine dragons, he knew that the situation was not good. Because his current strength was only at the 5th level of the divine martial realm. It was extremely difficult for him to deal with a dragon warrior at the peak of the divine martial realm, not to mention that there were already Nirvana Tribulation Realm existences among the ice divine dragons above. Moreover, there were more than one of them. It seemed that the ice divine dragon that had escaped before had gone to get reinforcements. At this time, Kong Shinmu's pitch-black divine dragon body appeared, which was immediately discovered by the other party. Originally, the other party was still wandering around, thinking about whether to go down to the sealed dragon abyss to look for him. Now, there was no need to hesitate at all. Because Kong Shinmu had just gone deep into the sealed dragon abyss, but now he had come out alive. He must be carrying a big secret. For the northern chill dragon country, the secret of the sealed dragon abyss was something they had always wanted to solve. Maybe they could get some secret treasures or treasures from it. So now that Kong Shinmu had come out alive, they suddenly became interested. Without the slightest hesitation, the group of over 10 ice divine dragons charged down towards Jiang Shenwu, and amongst them were 4 terrifying divine dragons that had already stepped into the rebirth tribulation realm. Their bodies were enormous, and the energy of ice on their bodies ceaselessly condensed into numerous rings of ice that coiled around their bodies, causing them to seem extremely mighty. Under the cover of the snowstorm, the entire exit of the sealed dragon abyss seemed to be sealed. It was absolutely impossible for Kong Shinmu to force his way out, and he also knew that it was impossible for him to return to the sealed dragon abyss. Because when he left the sealed dragon abyss, the strong killing intent in the surrounding darkness seemed to have reached a critical point. According to his guess, even his father, Jiang Zizai, could not protect him. If he went back, he was afraid that he would die in the sealed dragon abyss like Jiang Rong. As for how Jiang Rong had come out alive and why Jiang Zizai had been sealed by the ancestral dragon seal for 10 years, Kong Shinmu still did not know. But in any case, it was absolutely impossible for him to go back to the sealed dragon abyss. In that case, there is only one way. Kong Shinmu's expression turned serious. He took out a blood-red dragon scale from his bosom, then directly transferred his innate devouring power into it. Immediately after, the blood-red dragon scale glowed with a blood-red light, and a message that no one could detect was transmitted to an extremely distant place. It was received by the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon in the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm. The Heaven Opening Demon Dragon was originally resting, but when he felt this power, his mind became active. Is that kid in danger? Without any hesitation, he immediately gathered the power in his body and opened up a space-time door according to the location of the blood-red dragon scale. Then, his entire divine dragon body flew toward the space-time door. In the sealing dragon abyss, the blood-red dragon scale in Kong Shinmu's hand suddenly emitted a blood-red light that soared into the sky and directly swept out of the sealing dragon abyss. This scene surprised the icy frost divine dragons that were flying down. However, they did not think too much about it and continued to fly toward Kong Shinmu's position, wanting to subdue him as soon as possible. However, in the next moment, the blood-red dragon scale in Kong Shinmu's hand rapidly disintegrated and turned into a white light. It dispersed and gradually condensed into a space-time door, appearing in front of Kong Shinmu. Seeing this scene, the dragon martialists from the northern chill dragon country all became vigilant. They were not inexperienced people and could tell at a glance that this was a space-time door. This group of northern chill dragon country's dragon martialist scouts had always been active on the battlefield between the dragon martialists. Even if they had not seen this situation before, they had definitely heard of it. A space-time door could be created by a powerful dragon martialist in an instant and then sent reinforcements to the battlefield in the shortest time possible. It's a space-time door. Be careful, I don't know what kind of existence will appear. The expressions of the dragon martialists from the northern chill dragon country changed drastically. For a moment, they were on high alert and did not dare to continue moving down. This place is the Arctic Snow Mountain. There is no one here. Chi-Tian, come out and kill these people. Kong Shinmu's expression was filled with killing intent. Although he could directly walk into the space-time door and leave, he did not want to leave anyone alive. This was because his father, Jiang Zizai, was sealed at the bottom of the sealed dragon abyss. He did not want the news that he had entered to spread. Therefore, these dragon martialists from the northern chill dragon country in front of him must die. Kong Shinmu's thoughts were transmitted to the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon's mind through the blood-red dragon scale in his hand. Then, Kong Shinmu saw a blood-red dragon directly pass through the space-time door. With a roar, a smear of blood, with a fierce momentum, instantly rushed into the group of icy frost divine dragons. This is Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon, the Lord of the Demon Realm. This group of northern Chill Dragon Country dragon martialists were very clear about the powerful existences in the vicinity of the two countries. At a glance, they could tell that this blood-red dragon was the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon of the Heaven Awakening Devil Realm. They were also very clear that he was the Lord of a demon realm. As soon as they saw the figure of this blood-red dragon, the group of icy frost divine dragons flew up in fear and scattered in all directions. Facing the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon, they had no intention of fighting it. Without thinking, they turned around and ran. Moreover, more than 10 icy frost divine dragons fled in all directions. This way they would be able to escape further. However, it was too late for them to run now. You want to attack our lord? You are simply courting death. The Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon snorted coldly. Then, blood-red demonic power surged out of his body and filled the sky. In an instant, it covered the entire sky. He was the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon. He was originally a dragon martialist, but he later became a demon. At this moment, all the power in his body was also demonic power, not the innate power of a dragon martialist. Under the cover of the blood-red sky, more than 10 icy frost divine dragons could not escape. They were completely sealed inside by the blood-red demonic power. They looked around and saw a large area filled with blood-red light. There was no way out. We can't escape. What should we do? Fight it out with him. No matter what, we have to make a big commotion. This way, we still have a chance of survival. In an instant, they came up with the only solution. That was to make a big commotion here. That way, it might attract other dragon martialists over and find traces of the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon. Regardless of whether it was the Northern Chill Dragon Country or the Yen Dragon Emperor's court, once they found out that the Heaven Awakening Devil Dragon was moving outside, they would definitely not let him do as he pleased. Chapter 40-23. It was as if a blood-colored curtain had covered the sky, and the smell of blood spread rapidly in the air. As the Heaven Awakening Rogue Dragon roared, one after another, the ice dragons were drawn into the blood-colored demonic power, and then turned into blood foam. They were completely killed, and not even a trace of residue was left. Almost in an instant, the group of ice dragons died in the blood-colored demonic power, and not even their bones were left. This made Kong Shinmu a little disappointed. He originally wanted to devour these ice dragons, but on second thought, he was already at the Sky Dragon Realm. Even if he devoured these Sky Dragon Realm ice dragons in front of him, it would not be of much help to his blood level. So he shook his head and flew into the space-time gate. The ice dragons of the Northern Chill Dragon Country had been dealt with, so there was no need for him to stay here any longer. He could return directly to the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm. Anyway, it had been a long time since he last came out of the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm. The Heaven Awakening Rogue Dragon should have prepared a lot of treasures for him to absorb and cultivate. The sky above the dragon sealing abyss on the Arctic snow mountain quickly disappeared, and the scene of snow and ice was restored, as if the blood-red color had never appeared. The Heaven Awakening Rogue Dragon hovered in the air for a moment, then flew down and followed Kong Shinmu into the space-time gate. Before leaving, he also used the blood-colored demonic power to set up an illusory array, so that the space-time gate did not seem to exist from above. This was to prevent anyone from accidentally discovering it and bringing trouble to the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm. In the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm, the Heaven Awakening Rogue Dragon prepared 7 treasures for Kong Shinmu. These treasures were all extremely precious, and it was basically impossible to see them in the outside world of dragon martial artists. But in the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm, because these treasures were of no use to the demonic beasts, so they had been kept, and now Kong Shinmu had benefited from it. From the 5th tier of the Divine Martial Realm, it became more difficult for dragon martial artists to raise their cultivation realms. Previously, Kong Shinmu had taken 3 heavenly minerals and earthly treasures to advance from the 4th to the 5th level. Although that was because he had a good foundation, it was enough to prove that it was not difficult to advance his cultivation at that time. Now, if Kong Shinmu wanted to improve, he would need to consume at least 5 heavenly treasures, and it would be difficult for him to improve. Right now, he was the only one who had the conditions to make such a breakthrough. Even the geniuses of Dragon Prison City, the descendants of sacred dragon experts, did not have such good conditions for cultivation. To them, heavenly resources were things that could only be discovered by luck. Just one would be enough to make them laugh for a year, let alone 7 heavenly resources like Kong Shinmu. And this was only the result of a month of searching by the Heaven Awakening rogue dragon. In the entire Heaven Awakening demon realm, there must be more heavenly resources, but in order to let Kong Shinmu improve step by step, the Heaven Awakening demon dragon did not take them out all at once. In fact, even if he took out more, Kong Shinmu would not rashly absorb them, because he knew very well that on the path of cultivation, one had to be down to earth. Building a good foundation was the most important thing. Otherwise, it was very likely that the foundation would be unstable in the later stages, which would lead to some bad consequences. Next, he swallowed the heavenly resources in the Heaven Awakening demon realm, absorbing the spiritual qi within to strengthen his cultivation. Under the nourishment of these heavenly resources, the devouring power in his body continued to rise, becoming even more terrifying than before. From the 5th tier of the divine martial realm, it continued to advance towards the 6th tier of the divine martial realm. The stronger the devouring power is, the faster I can devour my opponent's flesh and blood essence. Moreover, after devouring my opponent's power, I will have a higher resistance to their power. Devouring Yao cores will also help me recover faster. There was a shrewd look in Kong Shinmu's eyes. He knew very well that the Heaven Awakening demon dragon was helping him because of the black dragon's consciousness. However, after going to the dragon's sealing abyss, the black dragon's consciousness had not yet awakened, and there had been no news until now. This made Kong Shinmu have a slight guess in his heart. Could it be that the black dragon's consciousness was previously sealed in the dragon's sealing abyss? So now that he was in the dragon's sealing abyss, he was so afraid that he did not dare to appear. Otherwise, there was no other reason to explain the current situation. As for why his father Jiang Zizai was sealed in the dragon's sealing abyss, Kong Shinmu could not guess. This was really a bit unbelievable. Jiang Zizai was just an ordinary dragon warrior of the Jiang clan. Even if he was a little more talented, he should not be targeted by such a level of power, right? Unless he had done something. Kong Shinmu kept guessing in his heart, and his eyes could not help but light up. He thought that his father Jiang Zizai had released the black dragon's consciousness from the dragon sealing abyss. If this was the case, it could barely explain why Jiang Zizai was sealed in there. Perhaps Jiang Zizai let go of something important, and the dragon sealing abyss sealed him instead. But if this was the case, why did Jiang Zizai have a way to protect him from harm in the dragon sealing abyss for a short period of time? All of this was really too puzzling. Unfortunately, Jiang Zizai did not leave much information for Kong Shinmu in the dragon sealing abyss. Now he only knew that if he wanted to save his father, he must seek the help of the ancestral dragon. As for what kind of existence the ancestral dragon was, he really did not know. I'll ask Qi Tian later. Kong Shinmu thought in his heart, and then concentrated on his cultivation. 7 days passed. He swallowed and absorbed all the power of the 7 treasures of heaven and earth, which made his innate devouring power reach a new level. His own cultivation realm finally broke through from the 5th level of the God Martial Realm to the 6th level of the God Martial Realm. Kong Shinmu opened his eyes, and there seemed to be a dark light in his eyes. The devouring power circulated in his eyes, which made people feel like they were going to be sucked in at a glance, and almost even their souls were going to be devoured. At the 6th level of the God Martial Realm, the strength of his devouring power had reached a frightening level. If the current him wanted to fight against Meng Cho, who was the strongest in the clan martial arts competition, he could easily crush the opponent, and the opponent would not have the power to fight back. Qi Tian, do you know what kind of existence the ancestral dragon is? After advancing to the 6th level of the God Martial Realm, Kong Shinmu called Qi Tian and asked him, Ancestral dragon. Ancestral dragon, that is a legendary existence. My lord, where did you hear about it? Qi Tian evil dragon flew over and turned into a red-robed man. Hearing this, he asked in surprise, Have you heard of the ancestral dragon? Tell me about the ancestral dragon, even if it is a legend. Chapter 40-24. Qi Tian Zhenlong began to tell Kong Shinmu about the legend of the ancestral dragon. The Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty and the northern Chill Dragon country were located on a continent in the void. On this continent, people obtained the inheritance of the divine dragon's blood essence and became dragon martial artists, which gave them the ability to fight against heaven and earth. But on this void continent, the strongest person who inherited the divine dragon's blood essence was only at the level of the Dragon Emperor. The Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty and the ruler of the northern Chill Dragon country were both existences at the level of the Dragon Emperor. They were the strongest existences on this void continent. But in fact, above the level of the Dragon Emperor, there were even stronger divine dragons. That was the divine dragon's origin, which was much stronger than the dragon martial artists who inherited the divine dragon's blood essence. And the ancestral dragon was the most primitive existence of these origin divine dragons. This void continent was called the Dragon Martial Continent, because the dragon martial artists on this continent were all obtained from the ancestral dragon's blood essence. But in fact, the overall strength of our dragon martial continent is still too weak. The real ancestral dragon and divine dragons soar in the universe and are worshipped by countless people. They are much more terrifying than the dragon martial artists on the dragon martial continent. They can even control time and everything, and have the ability to destroy the universe. Qi Tian couldn't help but sigh. He constantly looked at Kong Shinmu and thought to himself, the consciousness in this kid's body is definitely beyond the existence of the dragon martial continent. I don't know if that kind of power has reached the level of the ancestral dragon. Unfortunately, the ancestral dragon is just a legend, and no one has seen it before, so it's not easy to compare. But as long as I serve this existence well, there will definitely be great benefits in the future. He couldn't be good to Kong Shinmu for no reason. Everything was for his own benefit, to please the powerful consciousness hidden in Kong Shinmu's heart. But he was a little strange. Before, he could clearly feel the existence of that consciousness, but now, he couldn't detect it no matter how hard he tried. He didn't know if the consciousness was actively hiding, or it was no longer in this kid's body. Qi Tian didn't dare to take the risk. In any case, he decided to observe for a while more. Martial Dragon Continent. Ancestral Dragon. Jiang Shenwu's eyes suddenly lit up. The legends that Qi Tian mentioned were things that he had never heard of when he was in the Jiang clan. In Dragon Prison City, there should have been some records of such things. However, he had never read any of these records, so now he knew quite a lot of things all at once. Jiang Zizai had previously told him in the sealed dragon abyss that if he wanted to save him, he had to find the ancestral dragon. Did that mean that the existence in the sealed dragon abyss was at the ancestral dragon level? The seal set by the ancestral dragon was something that no dragon martial artist in the entire dragon martial continent could undo. It was also because of this that the dragon sealing abyss had existed for so long, making it impossible for anyone to see through what was inside, right? Kong Shinmu stood up. After he swallowed the 7 heavenly treasures, he broke through to the 6th level of the divine martial realm, which made his strength increase a lot. But compared to the experts, he was still far from it. Even the Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty, the Northern Chill Dragon Country King, and the Dragon Emperor were unable to see through the mystery of the sealed dragon abyss. Kong Shinmu knew that he still had a long way to go. Kong Shinmu glanced at Qi Tian and saw something from his eyes. He naturally knew that Qi Tian couldn't feel the existence of the black dragon aura in his body, so he had some doubts about him. However, Kong Shinmu didn't care. He was very clear that the black dragon consciousness in his body was completely afraid of the power in the sealed dragon abyss, so it was temporarily silent. It wouldn't suddenly disappear. If the black dragon consciousness disappeared, it would be a good thing for Kong Shinmu. After all, he still had the devouring power in his body. As long as he relied on the devouring power, he would be able to become stronger one day, and he wouldn't need to rely on the black dragon consciousness. On the contrary, the existence of the black dragon consciousness always made Kong Shinmu feel uneasy. This feeling had been lingering. After learning about the legend of the ancestral dragon, Kong Shinmu was even more eager to cultivate. However, to improve his cultivation, even for Kong Shinmu who had the devouring power, it was not an easy thing. He wanted to upgrade from the heavenly dragon blood essence inheritance to the sacred dragon blood essence inheritance. This step was quite difficult. It would be great if I could step into the ancient tomb of the Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty, Kong Shinmu thought to himself. He was very interested in exploring the ancient tomb of the Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty because there would definitely be many divine dragon skeletons in it, and there would definitely be many skeletons of powerful dragon martialists who had reached the sacred dragon or even the dragon king level. If he devoured these skeletons, the quality of Kong Shinmu's divine dragon blood would continue to improve from the heavenly dragon level, all the way to the sacred dragon level. I'll leave first. I'll be back in a month, Kong Shinmu said to Qi Tian and walked toward the space-time gate. My lord, be careful on the way. Do you have enough dragon scales on you? Qi Tian Rock asked with a smile. These are 2 dragon scales. Take them for now. When there's danger, you can summon me again. Remember, these are the last 2 dragon scales. Kong Shinmu had obtained 3 blood-colored dragon scales from him previously. Now that he had obtained 2 more, he had a total of 5 dragon scales. However, he had already used 2 before, so he only had 3 dragon scales left. He could summon Chi Tian Rock's help at a critical moment. Of course, if it was just a small favor, Chi Tian Rock didn't mind doing a favor at little cost. However, if it was something like fighting against the Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty, Chi Tian Rock definitely wouldn't get involved. Even the entire Chi Tian Rock demon realm couldn't be compared to the entire Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty. Previously, Kong Shinmu had used a blood-colored dragon scale to block Zhang Rong's sneak attack. Hence, he allowed Zhang Rong to lead the way to the sealing dragon abyss. If he didn't use this dragon scale, Kong Shinmu would have become a pile of bones. Hence, he didn't regret using this dragon scale. Anyway, he still had 3 dragon scales left. At a critical moment, he could summon Chi Tian Rock to help. That was enough. Of course, under normal circumstances, Kong Shinmu really didn't want Chi Tian Rock to come out and help. This was because Chi Tian Rock definitely wanted something for his help. It was a pity that the black dragon's consciousness in Kong Shinmu's body was asleep. He couldn't give it anything. Even if the black dragon's consciousness woke up, it might not be able to help Chi Tian Rock. Hence, Kong Shinmu tried his best not to have too much contact with Chi Tian Rock, lest Chi Tian Rock see through his actual situation. Soon, Kong Shinmu left the Chi Tian Rock demon realm through the space-time gate and returned to the sealing dragon abyss. He raised his head. The sky was filled with a snowstorm, but there was no aura of dragon warriors. Clearly, the death of the dragon warriors didn't attract the attention of the northern chill dragon country. Let's go back first. Chapter 4025. Dragon Ice City. This was a large fortress city located at the northern border of the Dragon Emperor Empire. It was the #1 fortress against the northern chill dragon country. Countless dragon practitioners could be seen flying around Dragon Ice City, trading, cultivating, and so on. Near Dragon Ice City, there were several places where demonic beasts gathered. Dragon practitioners could go out to train and carry out some demon hunting missions. When Kong Shinmu had dragged Zhang Rong to the Arctic Snow Mountain in search of the dragon sealing abyss, Xueqi and Zhang Liuxue had been resting in the city, waiting for Kong Shinmu's return. And now, almost half a month had passed since Kong Shinmu had left Dragon Ice City for the Arctic Snow Mountain. During this period of time, Xueqi and Zhang Liuxue had been interacting, training, and cultivating together. They had become pretty good friends, exchanging their cultivation experiences with each other. During this time, the 2 girls had also gone out to hunt some demonic beasts, tempering their own strength. As a result, they had become friends with a few young dragon practitioners. On this day, they had arranged to meet 3 young dragon practitioners. They were going to the Demon Hunters Association to accept a demon hunting mission and go out to train. Among the 3 young dragon practitioners, 2 were men and 1 was a woman. The man and woman were a couple. They were intimately attached to each other and were extremely sweet. When hunting demonic beasts, they cooperated perfectly with each other. It could be said that they were able to display combat strength that far exceeded their own cultivation. The other young man was the team leader of the 3. Ever since he had met Xueqi and Zhang Liuxue, he had been very attentive to the 2 girls. Clearly, this young man was very interested in the 2 girls and wanted to have a story with one of them. Unfortunately, Xueqi's attention was completely on Kong Shinmu. As for Zhang Liuxue, she had not considered the relationship between a man and a woman. Thus, she did not pay any attention to this young man's pursuit. The reason why she had gone out to train with them was because it was very difficult to find young dragon practitioners with similar cultivation levels to theirs. If they were as strong as Kong Shinmu, the 2 of them could go out to hunt demon beasts. Unfortunately, the Dragon Ice Canyon outside Dragon Ice City was too dangerous. If the 2 of them were to go together, it would be too dangerous. It was very likely that they would not be able to return. The leader of the young dragon martialists was called Wei Binghai. He was a dragon martialist born and raised in Dragon Ice City. His parents were experts in Dragon Ice City's stronghold. Wei Binghai was 23 years old, and he had also awakened the divine dragon's inheritance of the heavenly dragon's blood essence. Now, his cultivation base was at the 7th level of the divine martial arts realm, which was pretty good. He was even stronger than Meng Cho, the strongest warrior in the clan competition of the Dragon Prison City. At that time, Meng Cho was almost 30 years old, but he was only at the 4th level of the God Martial Arts realm. At most, he could deal with opponents at the 5th level of the God Martial Arts realm. If Meng Cho were to encounter the current Wei Binghai, he would probably be defeated in a single exchange. There would be no room for resistance. As for the other couple, they were called Xueqi and Yu Ruxin. The man and the woman were extremely affectionate and were youths at the 6th tier of the divine martial arts realm. They were both 1 year older than Wei Binghai, and they were extremely rare young geniuses in Dragon Ice City. These 3 young dragon martialists were all ice divine dragons. They had awakened the divine dragon's blood essence, which was a talent of the ice attribute. Shi Yueying also had the talent of the ice attribute divine dragon. However, she had inherited the hidden 5 elements mysterious ice power, which was much stronger than ordinary ice divine dragons. In the future, when this power of hers was awakened, her strength would definitely exceed that of other dragon martialists by a large margin. As for Zhang Liuxue, she was a mysterious sky jade fire dragon. This made the 3 youths feel a little strange. Although they did not say it, they must have guessed that she and Shi Yueying were dragon martialists from other places and not locals of Dragon Ice City. Of course, they were cooperating to hunt demon beasts, so there was no need to expose each other. After all, it was just a temporary cooperation. As for Wei Binghai's desire to pursue Shi Yueying and Zhang Liuxue, he could not ask such a private question now. The 5 of them gathered at the city gate of Dragon Ice City and prepared to go to the Dragon Ice Canyon to hunt demon beasts. Young Wei Binghai had already accepted the mission of hunting demon beasts from the Demon Hunters Association. They could set off once they met up. At this moment, Shi Yueying saw a familiar figure flying over from the frigid ice plains in front of them. It was a pitch-black divine dragon. It was more than 300 meters long and had a familiar aura. It was Kong Shinmu, who had just returned from the Arctic snow mountain. Immediately, Shi Yueying and Zhang Liuxue's eyes lit up as they went forward. This situation made Wei Binghai a little surprised. He had never seen the 2 girls show such surprised expressions in the past half a month. He couldn't help but look in the direction the 2 girls were looking and saw a black dragon at the heavenly dragon realm flying toward the city gate. He couldn't help but narrow his eyes. Who is this person? I have not seen him before. Does he know Yueying and Zhang Liuxue? Wei Binghai immediately became vigilant. He had pursued Shi Yueying and Zhang Liuxue for such a long time without any results, which made him feel a little defeated. It should be known that with his talent and strength, as well as his background and identity, it was easy for him to pursue any girl he wanted. He had only run into a wall with Shi Yueying and Zhang Liuxue. The 2 girls had completely ignored his pursuit. But now, the 2 girls were so nervous just by seeing a black dragon. Could it be that they liked this dragon martial artist? The couple, Xueqi and Yu Ruxin, did not pay much attention. They continued to flirt with each other. Even though Kong Shinmu had already landed on the ground and transformed into his human form to greet Shi Yueying and Zhang Liuxue, they did not notice Kong Shinmu's appearance. Wei Binghai, on the other hand, snorted coldly when he saw Kong Shinmu land. So he is just a brat. He looks to be only 17 or 18 years old, right? Although he has obtained the Sky Dragon's inheritance, his strength is definitely not that great. Wei Binghai thought. His cultivation level was higher than Kong Shinmu's, so he could see their cultivation level at a glance. Kong Shinmu was currently in the 6th tier of the divine martial arts realm. Although he was very young, his talent seemed to be higher than Wei Binghai's, but in terms of strength, he felt that he was definitely stronger than Kong Shinmu. After all, his cultivation level was 1 tier higher than Kong Shinmu's. Why are you at the city gate? Are you waiting for me to come back? Kong Shinmu saw the 2 girls coming to greet him. Although he was pleasantly surprised, he felt even more strange. It was possible that Shi Yueying had been waiting for him here every day, but it was absolutely impossible for Zhang Liuxue, so he guessed that they must have met by chance. We were just planning to go out to hunt monsters, and you came back. Shi Yueying felt like a huge stone had been lifted from her heart. For the past half a month, she had been in constant fear that Kong Shinmu would not come back. Fortunately, now that she saw that Kong Shinmu had returned safe and sound, she could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Where is Zhang Rong? He didn't come back? Chapter 4026. Kong Shinmu nodded. He didn't come back. That place is too dangerous. Did you find your father? Shi Yueying didn't care about why Zhang Rong didn't come back. As long as Kong Shinmu came back, everything would be fine. She mainly wanted to know if Kong Shinmu had found his father, Jiang Zizai. He found him, but it's too difficult to save him. Kong Shinmu shook his head and didn't say much. After all, most people didn't know about the ancestral Gragon. Even if they knew, it wouldn't help. There was no need to say it and make them worry. What should we do now? Shi Yueying raised her small head and asked with some pity. She wanted to see Kong Shinmu rescue her father, but since Kong Shinmu said it was difficult to save Jiang Zizai and didn't want to talk about it, she didn't ask too much. Instead, she changed the topic and asked him what he was going to do next. No matter what Kong Shinmu was going to do, she would follow him closely. Now we can only work hard to improve our strength and break through. Kong Shinmu said solemnly. Why don't you come with us to the Dragon Ice Canyon? We just accepted the demon hunting mission, so we can go together. Zhang Liushua's eyes lit up when she saw Kong Shinmu. She was surprised that Kong Shinmu had reached the 6th level of the divine martial realm. His cultivation speed was too fast. Zhang Liushua was only at the 4th level of the divine martial realm, but she felt that her cultivation speed was already very fast, and it was because of her good luck. She didn't expect that Kong Shinmu would be faster than her. She was very clear about Kong Shinmu's ability. Moreover, the demon beasts in the Dragon Ice Canyon all had the ice attribute, so it would be very easy for Kong Shinmu to deal with them. He could even deal with some demon beast kings that were equivalent to Nirvana Tribulation Realm cultivators. With Kong Shinmu, their trip would be much easier. Yes. Shi Yueying also nodded, but she glanced at the 3 people behind her and frowned slightly. However, if we invite Kong Shinmu to join us, Wei Binghai will probably be very unhappy. Let's accept the Monster Hunter mission again, and just the 3 of us will do. Zhang Liushua agreed with this point. I think so too. What's wrong? Does Wei Binghai have a grudge against you? Kong Shinmu, on the other hand, didn't think too much about it. When he heard that the 2 girls knew that guy in the distance, he asked them about it. He didn't know who Wei Binghai was. He only knew that the guy was at the 7th level of the divine martial arts realm and seemed to be very strong. Not really, Zhang Liushua coldly said, but he has some improper thoughts about us. So, if we walk together with you, that kid will definitely be jealous. Since that's the case, let's go back and accept the Monster Hunter mission again. Kong Shinmu nodded. He also didn't want to cause any trouble. In his eyes, a mere Wei Binghai wasn't even worth mentioning. Although Wei Binghai was at the 7th level of the divine martial arts realm, which was 1 level higher than him, in terms of real battle strength, Kong Shinmu could completely defeat any dragon warrior below the Nirvana Tribulation realm. Especially dragon warriors with innate abilities of the ice attribute, they couldn't even withstand a single blow from him. So, after the 3 of them made their decision, they prepared to return to the Monster Hunter Association in Dragon Ice City to accept another Monster Hunter mission. Ladies, please wait a moment. But Wei Binghai and the other 2 couldn't remain indifferent when they saw this situation. The man of the couple, Su Wuji, slightly frowned and walked up to block their way back to the city. Ladies, didn't you say that you would go with us to the Dragon Ice Canyon to train? Don't you want to go now? Also, who is this person? If it was just them and Wei Binghai and the other 2, they wouldn't be able to go too deep into the Dragon Ice Canyon. That way, they wouldn't be able to complete the Monster Hunter mission. Although Shi Yueying's and Zhang Liushua's battle prowess was far inferior to the 3 of them, they could still play an important role at a crucial moment. Without the 2 of them, they really wouldn't be able to continue on this trip. We are just going to avoid conflict and go back to accept another mission, Zhang Liushua said indifferently. She glanced at Kong Shinmu and said, This is our friend, and we have a very good relationship. I'm afraid that young Master Wei might have some opinions about him, so it's better if we don't go together. Liushua, what you said is wrong. Wei Binghai walked over and laughed. Since he's your friend, why don't we go to the Dragon Ice Canyon together? I'm not a narrow-minded person, so don't worry. I won't make things difficult for him. Afterwards, he turned his head and sized up Kong Shinmu. He's just an ordinary black dragon. Although he's the inheritor of the heavenly dragon's essence blood, I don't care about him at all. After all, He won't pose any threat to me. Since that's the case, let's go. The lady of the couple, Yu Ruxin, smiled like a flower. To her, it really didn't matter who she went with. The more people, the better. That way, completing the Monster Hunter mission would be a little easier. Jiang Xinwu glanced at Wei Binghai and noticed a wisp of killing intent flashing between Wei Binghai's brows. He knew that this kid had aroused killing intent towards him. If he were to travel with Wei Binghai on this trip, he would probably bring about a fatal disaster. However, why would Kong Xinmu be afraid? If they really fought, Kong Xinmu would definitely not lose to this kid. In fact, he would be able to completely crush him. Since that's the case, I'll do as you say. Kong Xinmu smiled faintly and nodded. He did not say anything else and allowed Zhang Liuxue and Shi Weiying to stay behind. Most importantly, he could see a dragon bone pendant hanging around Wei Binghai's neck with a single glance. Although the dragon bone pendant was small, it was definitely a part of the corpse of a divine dragon that was at least a holy dragon. It might even be the essence blood of a dragon king. Moreover, the core of the dragon bone pendant contained extremely dense essence blood of a divine dragon. If Kong Xinmu could devour it, he would definitely take a huge step towards becoming a holy dragon. Of course, Wei Binghai had not sensed the essence blood of a divine dragon in the core of the dragon bone pendant. It was only because they were far away from the sealing dragon abyss that the black dragon consciousness in Kong Xinmu's body could sense the existence of the essence blood. On Wei Binghai's body, the dragon bone pendant was at most a small treasure that could slightly increase his usual cultivation speed. However, to Kong Xinmu, this was a great item that could allow the essence blood of a divine dragon in his body to rapidly advance. It was precisely because of this that Kong Xinmu did not object to the other party's suggestion. He immediately agreed to set off with them to the Dragon Ice Canyon for training. It would be fine if Wei Binghai did not make any moves. Chapter 4027. The Dragon Ice Canyon was located in the west of Dragon Ice City. It was a place where demonic beasts gathered, and it was a place where Dragon Ice City's martial cultivators often went to train. For dragon warriors, training was a very important part of improving their strength. Without going through tempering, regardless of whether it was the dragon martial skill or the use of talent, it would be very difficult to improve. Moreover, the ice-type demonic beasts in the Dragon Ice Canyon all had a special material in their bodies, the ice core. This ice core could be used to forge special dragon weapons. No matter what kind of dragon weapon it was, after adding the ice core, it could increase its resistance against ice-type talent. For the dragon warriors of the Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty, this was a sharp weapon against the northern chill dragon country. Wei Binghai led the couple, Su Wuji, Yu Ruxin, and Kong Xinmu all the way to the Dragon Ice Canyon. Their goal was to kill 3 ice-type demonic beasts equivalent to the 9th tier of the God Martial Realm, which was equivalent to a peak Heavenly Fae, and obtain 3 6th-grade ice cores. The demonic beasts in the Dragon Ice Canyon all had ice cores of different grades. Among them, demonic beasts equivalent to the 1st to 4th tier of the God Martial Realm would have 4th-grade ice cores. Demonic beasts equivalent to the 5th to 8th tier of the God Martial Realm would have 5th-grade ice cores. Only demonic beasts equivalent to the 9th tier of the God Martial Realm, which was the 9th tier of the Heavenly Fae, would have 6th-grade ice cores. The value of a 6th-grade ice core was at least 10 times that of a 5th-grade ice core, and at least 30 times that of a 4th-grade ice core. However, it was too difficult for Wei Binghai, Su Wuji, and Yu Ruxin to kill a 9th-tier Heavenly Fae demonic beast. They needed someone to restrain the demonic beast from the side before they had a chance to attack. Moreover, they could only choose demonic beasts that were more suitable for them to deal with. Otherwise, even a 9th-tier Heavenly Fae demonic beast would have different abilities, and it was very likely that Wei Binghai and the others would be killed. If they could obtain these 3 6th-grade ice cores and hand them over to the Demon Hunter Association, they would be able to get a total of 100,000 Demon Hunter points. This was a huge amount of points. It must be known that Kong Xinmu had only spent 100,000 Monster Hunter points to exchange for a Grade 4 body-tempering dragon-type martial technique, the Magic Crystal. In other words, this mission was equivalent to Kong Xinmu doing Monster Hunter quests alone for several months. Of course, the difficulty of this mission was much higher than what Kong Xinmu had accepted. Even though Kong Xinmu's strength had increased a lot compared to before, if he were to accept this mission alone, it would be extremely difficult. Although Kong Xinmu had the ability to complete it alone, the time and hard work required would definitely not be little. Soon, The 6 of them transformed into their divine dragon forms and flew above the Dragon Ice Canyon. There were certain conditions for dragon martial artists to train in the Dragon Ice Canyon. In order to prevent the demonic beasts in the Dragon Ice Canyon from being slaughtered indiscriminately, leading to their extinction, the Dragon Ice Canyon was protected by the Demon Hunters Association. Only those who accepted the Demon Hunters Association's mission were qualified to enter the Dragon Ice Canyon to hunt demonic beasts. Above the Dragon Ice Canyon, there was a layer of translucent barrier, and other places were inaccessible. Only at the entrance of the Dragon Ice Canyon could one use the pass token given by the Demon Hunters Association to open a gap in the protective barrier. Hence, the 6 of them quickly landed at the entrance of the Dragon Ice Canyon. Looking into the canyon, all they could see was a frosty forest. The cold wind and snow blew continuously, and the scene of wind and snow swaying could be seen everywhere in the canyon. With the exception of Kong Shin-mu, the other 5 were already very familiar with the environment of the Dragon Ice Canyon, especially Wei Binghai. He had been training in the Dragon Ice Canyon ever since he became a dragon martial artist. The difference was that when he was in the Dragon Ascension realm, he could only move around the entrance of the Dragon Ice Canyon. Once he went deeper into the canyon, he would definitely die. As for now, he could head to the middle section of the Dragon Ice Canyon to find some Sky Fae realm demonic beasts. These demonic beasts were suitable opponents for him to train against at his current stage. However, he had to find opponents that were stronger than him at his current stage, or else there would not be any training effect. As for the Demon Hunter mission they had accepted, to kill 3 9th-tier Sky Fae demonic beasts was a challenge for Kong Shin-mu. Do you still remember the Sky Fae bone-piercing cold spider that appeared during the Jiang tribal clan's training? At this moment, Jiang Liuxue smiled at Kong Shin-mu and mentioned the past. Kong Shin-mu nodded. He naturally remembered this matter. The appearance of the bone-piercing cold spider Sky Fae had caused great losses to the Jiang tribal clan. Later on, several Nirvana Tribulation Realm true dragon martial artists joined forces to suppress and kill it. To the Kong Shin-mu of that time, the bone-piercing cold spider Sky Fae was completely undefeatable. Even the subordinates of the bone-piercing cold spider were 6th or 7th tier Earth Fae. It was extremely difficult for Kong Shin-mu to kill them, but to the current Kong Shin-mu, as long as the conditions allowed, he could even kill a Sky Fae bone-piercing cold spider. The difference between the true Dragon Blood Essence inheritance and the Sky Dragon Blood Essence inheritance was so great. A few Nirvana Tribulation Realm true dragon martial artists would need to join forces to be a match for the bone-piercing cold spider. But a Sky Dragon Blood Essence inheritor, even one who had stepped into the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, could easily kill the bone-piercing cold spider. Fortunately, Kong Shin-mu, Wei Binghai, and the others were all inheritors of the Sky Dragon Blood Essence. So even if their cultivation levels were not too high, it was still possible to deal with a 9th-tier Sky Fae. As long as they were careful and familiarized themselves with the opponent's habits and attack methods, killing 3-peak Sky Fae was still possible. Originally, Wei Binghai and the others only had 5 people. Now, with the addition of Kong Shin-mu, the situation had become extremely stable. But to Wei Binghai and the other 2, they did not feel that the addition of Kong Shin-mu would be of any help to their hunting mission. After all, Kong Shin-mu was only at the 6th tier of the Divine Martial Realm. He was the same as the dragon couple, Su Wuji and Yu Ruxin. In a battle, he would only be able to restrain the Sky Fae. They mainly needed to rely on Wei Binghai's strength. In a moment, when the battle starts, you will work together with the 2 of them to restrain the Sky Fae. Do you understand? Leave the frontal battle to me. With your current cultivation level, if you are attacked by a peak Sky Fae head-on, you will probably die. Wei Binghai glanced at Kong Shin-mu and said somewhat disdainfully. Kong Shin-mu naturally did not pay much attention to his words. Instead, he glanced at the dragon bone pendant on Wei Binghai's neck and smirked, but he did not say anything. Chapter 40-28. There were many dragon martial artists training in the Dragon Ice Canyon. However, the majority of them were only training in the Dragon Ice Canyon, hunting some ice-attributed earth demons. The strength of these earth demons was equivalent to Dragon Ascension stage martial cultivators, and these earth demons' bloodlines were not very pure, so they were not very strong. Only a small number of dragon practitioners would go to the middle section of the Dragon Ice Canyon to train, and only those who had reached the Divine Martial Realm dared to go there. As for the depths of the Dragon Ice Canyon, very few dragon practitioners went there, because there were many earth demons that surpassed the Nirvana Tribulation realm. Ordinary dragon practitioners would be courting death if they went there. And dragon practitioners who had reached the Nirvana Tribulation realm didn't need to hunt earth demons to improve themselves. Jiang Xinwu's group of 6 flew towards the middle section of the Dragon Ice Canyon. Very quickly, they slowed down. This was because it was very easy to be surrounded and attacked by heavenly demons in this area. Once they fell into such a situation, it would be very difficult to escape. Wei Binghai completely looked down on Kong Xinmu, so he told him to watch from the side when the fight started. Kong Xinmu was also happy to relax. Anyway, after the mission was completed, the 6 of them would definitely split the Demon Hunter points equally. To him, he didn't have to do anything to get Demon Hunter points, so why not? After a while, Wei Binghai, who was walking at the front, stopped, and a solemn expression appeared on his face. He lowered his voice and said to everyone, "There's a heart-freezing Fong at the 9th layer of Sky Demon ahead, and there are no other Earth Demons around. It's something we can deal with. Su Wuji, go lure the heart-freezing Fong over." The heart-chilling bone tooth was a relatively rare type of demon beast. Its entire body was made of white bones, with very little flesh and blood. Countless ice crystals were attached to the white bones, and even its eyes were made of ice crystals. His strength was rather terrifying. Although he was only at the 9th level of the Sky Demon realm and had yet to break through to the Sky Demon realm, in terms of combat strength, he was completely comparable to a dragon warrior at the 2nd level of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. However, Wei Binghai wasn't afraid. After he gave the order, he saw Su Wuji suddenly running forward. His entire body turned into an ice dragon, roaring as he charged at the resting heart-chilling bone fangs. Frigid Heart Bone Fong had the appearance of a dinosaur, but it was only an ice skeleton. It was originally lying on the ground, resting leisurely. It did not expect an ice dragon to suddenly rush over, immediately enraging it. If it was a Nirvana Tribulation dragon warrior, it would be fine. But this ice divine dragon was only at the 6th level of the divine martial arts realm. How dare it provoke it? Han Exian suddenly opened his mouth and stood up. His 4 bony legs jumped up high, and a terrifying cold force surged towards Su Wuji's ice dragon god. Su Wuji was startled. When the heart-chilling bone Fong was lying on the ground, it was only 6 meters tall. It looked like a tiny, but when it stood up, it was over 60 meters tall and over 300 meters long. It was actually about the same size as Su Wuji's ice divine dragon. The sudden attack of cold force caused Su Wuji to retreat subconsciously. He used a dragon-like movement technique and escaped from the heart-chilling bone fang's attack range. Han Exian was naturally unhappy that someone had disturbed his rest. He did not even think about it and chased after Su Wuji's ice divine dragon. However, the next moment, 2 other ice dragons suddenly rushed out of the forest. They were Wei Binghai and Yu Ruxin. Su Wuji also turned around. The 3 ice dragons used a terrifying dragon-like attack technique at the same time. Endless cold force poured down like a torrential rain, landing on the heart-chilling bone Fong. They had originally thought that they could at least heavily injure the heart-chilling bone Fong with a sneak attack. Unfortunately, the heart-chilling bone Fong reacted far too quickly in the face of danger. He subconsciously gathered his ice demon energy and formed an icy whirlwind around his body. A terrifying force exploded around the heart-chilling bone Fong, but it was unable to touch his body at all. It was unable to harm him at all. What? Wei Binghai did not expect this to happen. He had heard of the heart-chilling bone Fong before, but he did not think that it had such a powerful reaction speed. However, no matter what, they had already clashed with the heart-chilling bone Fong. No matter what, they had to use everything they had. Otherwise, it was very likely that they would all die here today. Wei Binghai did not care about the others. In any case, he definitely could not die. Shi Weiying and Jiang Liuxue also transformed into their dragon forms and surrounded the heart-chilling bone Fong. The 2 of them mainly focused on restraining this demon. They only needed to use their dragon-like techniques from afar. There was no need for them to get close to it. If they got close, they were afraid that the heart-chilling bone Fong would be able to kill them in one move. Kong Xinmu was watching the situation from afar. He frowned slightly. The strength of the heart-chilling bone Fong far surpassed Wei Binghai and the others. If they were to fight head-on, Wei Binghai and the others would definitely lose. There was something wrong with the way this brat chose his opponents. It's fine if he gets himself killed. If I am not here, I'm afraid that even Shi Yueying and Jiang Liuxue will be killed by him. Kong Shinmu coldly snorted. He finally transformed into a black dragon and flew in the direction of the heart-chilling Bone Fong. Because he had been moving around in the extreme frost ice field, he had devoured a lot of ice energy. Therefore, his resistance towards ice attribute energy had always been maintained at an extremely high state. Therefore, even though he was facing the powerful heart-chilling Bone Fong, which was equivalent to the second layer of the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, he did not feel the slightest bit of fear or retreat. It was true that if the heart-chilling Bone Fong fought against Kong Shinmu with his physical strength, Kong Shinmu might not be its match. However, if he used his innate talent to fight against the opponent's ice demon energy, Kong Shinmu would definitely emerge victorious. Purple Ice Arrow Rain Kill! Wei Binghai shouted. The innate talent of Blizzard erupted from his body and formed countless ice crystal arrows that rained down from the sky above the Dragon Ice Canyon. Every ice crystal arrow contained an extremely powerful penetrative power. If he were to fight against an ordinary demon beast, he would definitely be able to kill them all. The purple ice condensed into arrows and shot towards the heart-chilling Bone Fong. At the same time, the pair of dragon martial artists, Su Wuji and Yu Ruxin, also unleashed their own powerful dragon martial techniques. Ice energy whistled out from both sides and landed on the heart-chilling Bone Fong, completely shattering the ice demon energy barrier that the heart-chilling Bone Fong had just condensed. After all, the combined strength of the three of them attacking together was extraordinary. The demon energy barrier that the heart-chilling Bone Fong had casually condensed was not enough to withstand their attacks. Chapter 4029. The heart of Honggu was enraged. It was born in this Dragon Ice Canyon. Since it was a child, it had killed many dragon warriors who came to provoke it. If it was someone with a higher cultivation than it would run away as soon as it saw them. It was impossible for it to fight with them. But now, this group of puny dragon martial artists, who were 2 or 3 levels weaker than it, dared to jump around in front of it. How could it tolerate it? This was contempt for the heart of Honggu clan. It would not let them off easily. At the next moment, Han Xian didn't have the slightest intention of dodging Wei Binghai's rain of arrows. Instead, he straightened his bony body and withstood the rain of arrows. The purple ice innate ability seemed to pierce through the heart, piercing through the heart of the Frostbone Fangs. However, the heart of the Frostbone Fangs were made of white bones, and there were countless cracks on its body. This rain of purple ice arrows mostly passed through the cracks on its body, landing on the ground of the Dragon Ice Canyon. As for the few that landed on the heart of Honggu's body, the bony white bones were extremely hard. The purple ice arrows could not break through the surface layer of the bony white bones, let alone hurt the heart of Honggu. On the other hand, Shi Yueying released a dragon martial technique. The 5 extremes mysterious ice energy gushed out from the mouth of the divine dragon and transformed into a light beam of the 5 extremes mysterious ice energy. That chilling heart-bone tooth paid attention to it for a moment and dodged it without thinking. This was because the 5 extremes mysterious ice force was one of the extreme ice attribute powers. It was of a much higher grade than the ice attribute power that the heart of Honggu possessed. Therefore, it subconsciously wanted to dodge. However, after it dodged, it found that the dragon martial artist who used this move was actually a weakling in the 4th divine martial realm. This immediately made it even more unhappy. How could such a weak dragon martial artist be able to control an extreme frost power like the 5 extreme mystic ice power? Even the heart of Honggu, as powerful as it was, could not obtain such power. It had never thought that if Shi Yueying had lived as long as it had, she would have long since reached the Nirvana Tribulation Realm or even surpassed the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. Unfortunately, Han Xian Guya did not realize that Shi Yueying, who had lived for less than a tenth of its time, now already possessed the strength to kill it together with the other dragon warriors. Heart-chilling Bone Fong matured after 100 years. When it matured, it would have the cultivation level of a 9th firmament sky demon. This heart-chilling Bone Fong had lived for about 100 years. If it wanted to compete with Shi Yueying in terms of cultivation, it would naturally win easily. Unfortunately, even though it had lived for a long time, it did not mean that it would be able to survive the situation today. Demon beasts usually died at the hands of dragon warriors who were weaker than them. Otherwise, once they met a dragon warrior with a higher cultivation level than them, they would definitely escape at the first moment. It was impossible for them to face the dragon warrior head-on. Han Xian and Guya saw that this group of dragon warriors had not even reached the Nirvana Tribulation Realm. They looked down on them and did not take them seriously at all. Even if there was a dragon warrior who had the 5 extremes mysterious ice force, so what? It roared and spewed out a burst of cold demon power from its mouth. It turned into a cold whirlpool and rushed toward Xueqi, who was closest to it. Seeing this, Xueqi subconsciously wanted to dodge, but the cold whirlpool was too fast, making it difficult for him to dodge. Therefore, he could only subconsciously urge the innate talent of ice in his body to condense layers of ice crystal walls in front of the cold whirlpool, trying to defend against it. Unfortunately, Xueqi's strength was far inferior to Han Xian and Gu Ya's. One was in the 6th firmament of the divine martial realm, and the other was equivalent to the 2nd firmament of the nirvana tribulation realm. The strength of both sides was not on the same level. Xueqi's ice crystal walls only lasted for a breath's time. The next moment, it was completely smashed by the cold whirlpool. The terrifying power descended, causing Xueqi, who had transformed into an ice dragon, to fall heavily on the ground of the Dragon Ice Canyon, smashing into pieces of ice. Wuji! Yu Ruxin immediately cried out in worry when she saw this. However, she was unable to check on Xueqi's wounds at a time like this, as once she retreated, Wei Binghai would be the only one left to face the heart-freezing Fong, and only death would await him. As a result, she was filled with grief and indignation. All the innate ice power in her body surged out, turning into a screen of ice that filled the sky. She wanted to trap the Guya within it. The cold innate ice power caused the surroundings to be filled with snow and ice. Very soon, the Guya was enveloped by the screen of ice. The screen of ice rapidly hardened, turning into an ice prison very soon. Unfortunately, before it could harden, the cold whirlpool of the Guya's demon power erupted and completely shattered the screen of ice. After shattering the screen of ice, the cold whirlpool of demon power extended towards Yu Ruxin. It condensed into a cold streak of light and arrived in the blink of an eye. Be careful, Zhang Liuxue warned from the side. The heavenly profound jade fire dragon she had transformed into suddenly charged over, and a jet of jade flames descended from the sky, landing on the cold whirlpool of demon power. As the cold whirlpool had just shattered the screen of ice, it had already expended some of its power. Moreover, Zhang Liuxue's power of jade flames was the bane of the ice demon power, so the jet of jade flames completely blocked the cold whirlpool of demon power, shattering it in mid-air. The collision of their powers erupted in the sky above the Dragon Ice Canyon like fireworks between ice and fire. The beauty of it was intoxicating, but no one present was in the mood to appreciate it. This was because the Guya was just too powerful. It had even surpassed Wei Binghai's initial expectations. Isn't the Guya only a 9th-layer heavenly demon? Why does its strength surpass that of a 9th-layer heavenly demon? It might even surpass the level of a heavenly demon. Wei Binghai gritted his teeth. The heavenly profound jade fire dragon he had transformed into was a little afraid to advance. Xueqi had been heavily injured by the opponent in a single move, and his consciousness had already blurred. Wei Binghai knew that even if he went up, he would not be a match for the Guya. It seemed like he had chosen the wrong target from the very beginning. The Guya's strength far exceeded that of a 9th-layer heavenly demon. 6 dragon practitioners surrounded a single heavenly demon. Although they were all at the divine martial realm, there was no problem if they worked together well. However, they had underestimated the Guya's strength, which resulted in them not being prepared at the very beginning. As a result, they had lost a member in an instant. With Xueqi's heavy injuries, the situation was extremely unfavorable for the dragon practitioners. It was also at this moment that the black dragon Kong Shinmu had transformed into appeared. Halberd of the Heavenly Sage, kill! The dragon-grey dragon armament erupted, and countless golden halberds condensed in mid-air before descending towards the Guya. HM? This kid actually has such a powerful dragon armament. But with his strength, he's definitely no match for the Guya. Wei Binghai's eyes darted around as he thought of an idea. Chapter 40-30. Wei Binghai was well aware of the difference in strength between the two sides. Even Xueqi had been heavily injured by the heart-freezing bone. If they continued to fight, they would only suffer more casualties. Since this kid called Kong Shinmu was willing to charge forward, he would let him stall the heart-freezing bone. Wei Binghai could take advantage of this opportunity to save Xueqi. At the same time, the heart-freezing bone would definitely be able to kill off Kong Shinmu. This was exactly what Wei Binghai was thinking. He had forgotten the original reason he had come to the Dragon Ice Canyon this time. He only thought that he could use this opportunity to get rid of Kong Shinmu. This was already a pretty good result. Who told this kid to win over Xueqi and Zhang Liushue's favor? He did what he thought. Without any hesitation, Wei Binghai, who had transformed into a frigid ice dragon, turned around and flew towards where Su Wuji was. He had originally been fighting the heart-freezing bone, but in the blink of an eye, he had actually slipped away. This scene fell directly into the eyes of the three girls at the side. Whether it was Shi Yueying, Zhang Liushue, or Yu Ruxin, the three girls were all shocked by Wei Binghai's actions. However, they understood Wei Binghai's thoughts after some thought. They knew that he wanted to sacrifice Kong Shinmu in order to save Su Wuji. Hurry up and leave. What are you waiting for? We're no match for the heart-freezing bone. After flying for a moment, Wei Binghai turned around and shouted at the three girls. Zhang Liushue and Shi Yueying both looked at him with disdain. They obviously would not abandon Kong Shinmu and flee. In any case, they knew that in the current situation, the two of them working together with Kong Shinmu was enough to kill the heart-freezing bone. The heart-freezing bone was equivalent to the second layer of the Nirvana Tribulation realm. In other words, its strength was not much different from Zhang Rong's. Previously, when Kong Shinmu teamed up with the two women, they had even killed Zhang Rong, let alone Han Xian and Guya. Moreover, the current Kong Shinmu was much stronger than before. There was another point, and that was the heart-disintegrating bone's power was of the ice attribute. To Kong Shinmu, he naturally had a strong resistance against it. This was because he had devoured Shi Yueying's 5 extremes mysterious ice energy, and had devoured quite a lot of it. Combining all the conditions, the two women were absolutely sure that this heart-chilling bone fong was not Kong Shinmu's opponent. Unfortunately, Wei Binghai didn't know this. Yu Ruxin did not know about this either. When Yu Ruxin saw Wei Binghai turn around and flee, and when he turned around and shouted, her heart trembled. She glanced in the direction that Kong Shinmu had run off in, and she seemed rather embarrassed. However, when she thought about how her man Su Wuji was already heavily injured if she stayed behind, she did not think too much about it. She directly flew towards where Su Wuji had fallen and was heavily injured. She planned on saving Su Wuji first. If it were not for the fact that the circumstances did not allow it, she would not have sacrificed Kong Shinmu in exchange for her own life. However, in her heart, Su Wuji was more important than her own life, so she went down to save him without any hesitation. If she were also heavily injured by the heart-disintegrating bone here, her and Su Wuji's lives would probably be in danger. Run! Very soon, after rescuing Su Wuji's unconscious body from the ground of the Dragon Ice Canyon below, Yu Ruxin turned around and saw that Shi Yueying and Zhang Liushue had not fled. Instead, they had even gotten closer to the heart of the disheartened bone, as if they were both using various techniques in an attempt to attack it. This scene immediately gave Yu Ruxin a fright. She hurriedly turned around and called out to the two women. In her opinion, provoking the heart-chilling bone tooth was the same as courting death. She was afraid that the heart-chilling bone tooth would kill them in a single move. After all, they had been traveling together for such a long time. Yu Ruxin did not want to see the two women die just like that. However, something that surprised her very soon happened. The heart-disintegrating bone still wanted to pursue Wei Binghai, but in the end, it was blocked by the pitch-black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into. Countless golden halberds descended from the sky, turning into streaks of sharp light. They were so sharp that they were like the most resplendent sunlight at noon. Under the illumination of the golden light, they actually shattered the heart-disintegrating bone's ice barrier. Afterwards, the pitch-black dragon latched onto the heart-disintegrating bone like a maggot attached to a bone, becoming completely entangled with the heart-disintegrating bone. Frigid aura spread out from Heart of Chill's body in all directions. He continuously shot out frosty arrows and icy cold spikes. However, none of them could penetrate the purple magic crystal on the surface of the black dragon that Jiang Shunwu had transformed into. Yu Ruxin was shocked by this scene. Right now, the heart-disintegrating bone was actually completely entangled with Kong Shinmu. Forget about chasing after her and Wei Binghai. It could not even find the time to kill Shi Yueying and Zhang Liushue. With Kong Shinmu keeping them busy, the others were completely safe. This made Yu Ruxin feel rather conflicted. She thought that if she and Wei Binghai turned around to deal with the heart-disintegrating bone, they might be able to kill the heart-disintegrating bone. However, Wei Binghai had already fled a long time ago. She was the only one left, and she was carrying the heavily injured Su Wuji. There was nothing she could do to deal with the heart-disintegrating bone. In order to prevent the heart-disintegrating bone from coming after her after killing off Kong Shinmu, she gritted her teeth and did not hesitate too much. She turned around and continued to flee into the distance. After all, in her opinion, although Kong Shinmu had temporarily blocked the heart-disintegrating bone, he would definitely not be able to hold on for too long. Without anyone's help, he would definitely be killed by the heart-disintegrating bone very quickly. Even if he managed to block the heart-disintegrating bone, it would definitely only last for a short while. How could a martial cultivator at the 6th tier of the divine martial realm resist a demonic beast at the 2nd tier of the nirvana tribulation realm for a long time? Very soon, she disappeared from everyone's sight with Su Wuji's body. When Shi Yueying and Jiang Liuxue saw this, their faces were filled with disappointment. Since they had already fled, there was no longer any need for them to train anymore. This was because the mission of the Monster Hunters Association was in Wei Binghai's hands. Even if they managed to kill the heart-disintegrating bone, it would be impossible for them to turn around and meet up with Wei Binghai so that he could complete the mission and receive the reward. Even if they did not receive the reward, they did not want to have any further interaction with Wei Binghai. After Yu Ruxin left with Su Wuji, the two girls turned around as quickly as they could. Jiang Liuxue's mysterious Sky Jade Fire Dragon and Shi Weiying's Frost Divine Dragon attacked at almost the same time, each displaying their strongest dragon martial techniques and releasing them towards the heart-disintegrating bone that was being held back by Kong Shinmu. A terrifying innate talent descended from the sky and exploded in the Dragon Ice Canyon. Purple demonic crystals condensed all over Kong Shinmu's body. Combined with the halberd of heavenly saints, he continuously blocked the heart-disintegrating bone's attacks. Chapter 40-31. Wei Binghai and Yu Ruxin carried the heavily injured and unconscious Su Wuji out of the middle section of the Dragon Ice Canyon very quickly, returning to the front section. They had completely left the range of activity of the heart-disheartening bone. For a heavenly demon like the heart-disheartening bone, it was absolutely disdainful to come to the habitat of earth demons. That brat actually took the initiative to charge forward. He saved me some trouble. Wei Binghai, who had transformed into the Ice Divine Dragon, had a cold expression on his face. After leaving the range of the heart-freezing teeth, he could no longer observe the situation of the battle in the vicinity. However, he was sure that Kong Shinmu would definitely be killed by the heart-freezing teeth. It's just a pity for Shi Yueying and Jiang Liuxue. When Wei Binghai thought of the two women, he felt that it was a pity. However, compared to his own life, these two women were nothing. In any case, they were not powerful existences. They were just a bit beautiful. However, what he did not know was that Shi Yueying possessed the 5 extreme mystic ice power. It was just that her divine dragon bloodline had yet to be fully awakened. As for Jiang Liuxue, the sky mysterious Jade Fire Dragon, her future prospects were extremely promising. She was only slightly inferior to the red-horned demonic dragon blood essence that Jiang Zizai had obtained. It was just that she was born in the Jiang clan, so her cultivation resources could not keep up. If not, she would not be inferior to the current Wei Binghai, and might even be stronger than him. Yu Ruxin took Su Wuji with her and directly prepared to return to Dragon Ice City to find a way to heal. After suffering such a serious injury, even if Su Wuji survived this time, he would probably have to rest in bed for more than half a month. Moreover, it would definitely cost a lot to heal his current injuries. When she thought of this, Yu Ruxin felt rather resentful towards Wei Binghai. Why did he choose an opponent like Han Xian and Guya? If they had avoided the heart-chilling fangs and chosen another opponent, it was very likely that they would have already killed the first heavenly demon. In that case, Su Wuji wouldn't have been seriously injured and their demon hunter mission wouldn't have failed. From the looks of it, the demon hunting mission was likely going to fail. This was because they had to kill 3 9th firmament sky demons within half a month. Now that Su Wuji was heavily injured, it was extremely difficult for them to hunt sky demons with their strength. Even in the past, the 3 of them needed to use all their strength to deal with ordinary 9th firmament sky demons. Now that they didn't have Su Wuji's help, it was almost impossible for them to kill a sky demon, unless they encountered a sky demon that was already heavily injured. However, this kind of luck was even more uncertain. Mission failure is mission failure. We just have to deduct some monster hunter points. We can earn it back later. Wei Binghai didn't care much about the monster hunter points. However, Yu Ruxin was different. She was not a young master of Dragon Ice City like Wei Binghai. Neither she nor Su Wuji had particularly impressive backgrounds, so they had to work hard to earn cultivation resources, or it would be very difficult for them to increase their cultivation. Even if Wei Binghai didn't have any demon hunter points, he could still use the family's cultivation resources to help him improve. However, without Su Wuji and Yu Ruxin's monster hunter points, it would be very difficult for them to obtain other cultivation resources to improve themselves. Moreover, just treating the heavily injured Su Wuji would cost them a lot of resources. The wealth they had accumulated over the past 2 or 3 months would be gone in a single go. Yu Ruxin blamed Wei Binghai a little for all of this. Unfortunately, even if she blamed Wei Binghai, it was impossible for Wei Binghai to provide them with any assistance. Instead, it was likely that he would scold them for being too weak and unable to defeat Vengeful Spirit. Perhaps it's time to change companions. Yu Ruxin gritted her teeth as she thought to herself. If they were willing to come, there would be no need for them to take such a risk to hunt heavenly demons. While hunting earth demons would be slightly more complicated and the monster hunter points would be earned more slowly, there would not be too much danger to their lives. In the end, things ended up like this, which made her feel far too miserable. But fortunately, I managed to escape with Wuji, or else. When Yu Ruxin thought about how Shi Yueying and Jiang Liuxue were still near the Vengeful Spirit and had attacked it, she shook her head rather pitifully. She rejoiced that she was still alive. Although they had suffered great losses, anything was possible as long as she was alive. In her opinion, Shi Yueying, Jiang Liuxue, and that newcomer Kong Xinmu had definitely died to the Vengeful Spirit already. There was no possibility of anything unexpected happening. However, what she did not know was that the Vengeful Spirit's furious roars were constantly ringing out from the Vengeful Spirit's location in the middle of the Dragon Ice Canyon. Streaks of golden light and pitch-black shadow dragon fangs constantly erupted from the pitch-black dragon's body. Afterwards, the pitch-black innate ability of devouring constantly surged out and enveloped the Vengeful Spirit's entire body. It continuously devoured all the power within the Vengeful Spirit's body. Demon energy was endlessly replenished into Kong Xinmu's body, allowing him to recover from the injuries he had sustained from the Vengeful Spirit's desperate attacks earlier. Even if he was as heavily injured as Su Wuji, as long as he was given a demon core, he would be able to recover easily. He would be as lively as a tiger after 15 minutes. This was the terrifying aspect of the devouring ability. As long as he did not die, he could recover rapidly. Kong Xinmu's resistance to the power of ice was already extremely strong. After continuously devouring the Vengeful Spirit's ice demon energy, it became even more impossible for the power of ice to harm Kong Xinmu's life. The main reason was that the strength of the Vengeful Spirit wasn't too strong. Even Jiang Rong was able to fight against it. If the Vengeful Spirit was 2 levels stronger, then Kong Xinmu might have died here today. Because with that kind of power, he wouldn't even have time to recover before the Vengeful Spirit could completely kill him. In a situation where he would lose his life, it would be useless no matter how much he devoured. After the time it took for 2 incense sticks to burn, the Vengeful Spirit had become extremely weak. Jiang Xinwu's entire body was shrouded in a golden light. Then, countless golden halberds descended from the sky, and finally, the heart of Chill's bony body was cleaved into 2 from the center. The gigantic heart of Chill fell heavily onto the ground of the Dragon Ice Canyon, emitting a loud rumbling sound. Several hundred-year-old ancient trees were flattened, and a cloud of dust was kicked up. The Vengeful Spirit was dead. Kong Xinmu didn't think too much about it. He descended and took out the Vengeful Spirit's demon core. At the same time, he took out a 6th grade ice core. This 6th grade ice core could be exchanged for many good items in Dragon Ice City. However, if he wanted to exchange for something useful to Kong Xinmu, a 6th grade ice core was definitely not enough. He needed at least 10 of them to exchange for a 3rd grade or 4th grade dragon martial technique. It was too difficult to exchange for a 2nd grade one. However, to Kong Xinmu, if he continued killing 9th firmament demons at this speed, it wasn't impossible for him to exchange for a 2nd grade dragon martial technique. Now, apart from increasing my cultivation level, I also want to increase my combat strength. I can only start with the dragon martial technique. Chapter 40-32. Shi Yueying and Jiang Liuxue naturally did not have any objections to Kong Xinmu's decision. Although they had accompanied Kong Shinmu to search for Jiang Zizai, they were in no hurry to return now that their goal had been achieved. After all, they could train wherever they went. Hunting ninth firmament sky demon fey beasts with Kong Shinmu was equally rewarding for them. Furthermore, there were some natural treasures of good age in Dragon Ice Canyon. Although these natural treasures could not compare to the ones Kong Shinmu had consumed in the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm, they were still very useful for them. In Dragon Ice Canyon, there weren't many ninth firmament sky demon fey beasts, but they weren't few either. The main reason was that the canyon was huge. As long as it wasn't in existence that could instantly kill a ninth firmament sky demon fey beast, it was impossible for the fey beasts in the canyon to go extinct. Therefore, Kong Shinmu led the two girls to hunt fey beasts without worry. Ninth firmament sky demon fey beasts were much weaker than eighth firmament sky demon fey beasts. They were much stronger and had rich demonic powers. If not for Kong Shinmu constantly devouring the power of frost ice, he would not have been able to withstand their attacks. Even so, he still encountered danger many times. If not for him devouring the fey core of the defeated sky demon to recover from his injuries, he would have long died in Dragon Ice Canyon. Even so, he still chose to kill ninth firmament sky demon fey beasts. This was because only ninth firmament sky demon fey beasts had 6th grade ice cores in their bodies. Even 8th firmament sky demon fey beasts only had 5th grade ice cores in their bodies. The difference in value was 10 times. Therefore, although 8th firmament sky demons were much easier to deal with, to Kong Shinmu, it was still not as cost-effective as 9th firmament sky demons. Especially during the training, Xueqi and Zhang Liuxue broke through to the 5th firmament divine martial realm. They became more adept at hunting fey beasts, and their efficiency increased. On average, they could kill a 9th firmament sky demon a day. During this period, Kong Shinmu and company encountered many dragon warrior teams that came to Dragon Ice Canyon to hunt fey beasts. However, they did not see Wei Binghai and company. They were not in a competitive relationship with the other dragon warriors, so there was no conflict. Just like that, a month quickly passed. Kong Shinmu, Xueqi, Zhang Liuxue, and the others brought a total of 29 6th grade ice cores back to Dragon Ice City and went to the Demon Hunters Association to exchange for a few dragon martial techniques. It was too difficult for a divine martial artist to obtain a 6th grade ice core. 10 6th grade ice cores could be exchanged for a 3rd grade dragon martial skill, which was extremely difficult for a divine martial artist, but for a Nirvana Tribulation dragon martial artist, what they pursued was a 2nd grade dragon martial skill. Of course, for a Jiang clan dragon warrior like Jiang Rong, even if he had the strength, he would not be able to obtain a powerful dragon martial technique. This was because the Jiang clan did not have such resources. Even if a genius of the Jiang clan obtained a powerful dragon martial skill outside, he would not be able to pass it down to the Jiang clan. This was because the dragon martial skill obtained outside was only a memory imprint. It could only be cultivated by one person. To pass it down, the person who cultivated the dragon martial skill had to be able to cultivate it to the peak of the heaven rank. However, if one wanted to cultivate the dragon martial skill to the heaven rank, the difficulty was too great. Even if one reached the dragon rank, the power of the dragon martial skill would be different from before. If one wanted to reach the heaven rank, one would never be able to do it. Even a genius dragon warrior would need at least a few years to cultivate a dragon martial skill to the heaven rank. Moreover, it was a low-grade dragon martial skill. If it was a 2nd grade or 3rd grade dragon martial skill, a genius dragon warrior would need at least 10 years to cultivate it to the heaven rank, and that was under the condition that their luck was good. The Shadow Dragon Feng transformation is a 3rd grade dragon martial skill that Sacred Dragon Shi Tao cultivated to the heaven rank. This is also a 3rd grade dragon martial skill passed down in the Shi clan residence. It is considered one of the strongest dragon martial skills in the Shi clan residence. Kong Shinmu thought, now we have 29 6th grade ice cores. With just one more, we can exchange for 3 3rd grade dragon martial skills. Now, I want a defensive dragon martial skill. As for the other two, I'll let Xueqi and Zhang Liuxue each choose one. A 3rd grade dragon martial skill was not easy to obtain. Although Kong Shinmu wanted to choose a 2nd grade dragon martial skill, he could not let Xueqi and Zhang Liuxue's hard work go to waste this month. To him, the 3rd grade dragon martial skill was not the key. The key was to cultivate the dragon martial skill. A 3rd grade dragon martial skill was much easier to cultivate than a 2nd grade dragon martial skill. For Kong Shinmu, it would allow him to improve faster. Choosing a third-grade dragon martial skill did not mean that there were no benefits. Bring these 29 sixth-grade ice cores back to Dragon Ice City and hand them over to the Demon Hunter Association. Each of you can choose a third-grade dragon martial skill. Kong Shinmu instructed Xueqi and Zhang Liuxue. As for me, I have some matters to attend to and will leave first. I will return to Dragon Ice City in a week's time to look for you. Okay. Be careful. Zhang Liuxue solemnly said to Kong Shinmu. In this month, she had advanced by 1 level, reaching the 5th level of the Divine Martial Realm. She was only 1 level below Kong Shinmu. However, when facing ice-attributed demonic beasts, the difference in their battle prowess could be said to be like heaven and earth. Of course, if they were facing ordinary demonic beasts, the difference between them would not be so exaggerated. The main reason was that Kong Shinmu's resistance to ice-attributed power was too strong. Even if a demonic beast that was slightly above the sky demon level and equivalent to the Nirvana Tribulation Realm attacked him, it would be very difficult for it to break through his defense. Xueqi was a little reluctant to see Kong Shinmu leave, but she also knew that Kong Shinmu definitely had his own matters to attend to, so he asked them to return first. Hence, she could only bid farewell to Kong Shinmu and return to Dragon Ice City with Zhang Liuxue. In this month, the two girls and Kong Shinmu had been together all the time, and their relationship had become even closer. Especially Xueqi, the feelings in her heart had grown even stronger. Unfortunately, Kong Shinmu had not yet deeply understood this point. He asked the two girls to return to Dragon Ice City first. As for himself, he naturally planned to make a trip to the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm to raise his cultivation level. When he stepped into the Dragon Ice Canyon, he was at the 6th level of the Divine Martial Realm. This time, after returning to the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm and consuming the natural treasures that Qi Tian had prepared for him, he would almost be able to step into the 7th level of the Divine Martial Realm. The main reason was that this month of intense battle with the 9th level Sky Demon had allowed him to completely consolidate his cultivation level of the 6th level of the Divine Martial Realm. It was completely possible for him to directly raise it. Then, let me raise my cultivation level again. Kong Shinmu touched the blood-red dragon scale that he had taken out from his bosom. Then, in the hidden area of the Dragon Ice Canyon, a spatial door quietly appeared, and then was covered by the power of illusion. Chapter 4033. Dragon Ice City, the Monster Hunters Association. Over the past month, Su Wuji had been lying in bed recovering. With Yu Ruxin taking care of him, his heavy injuries finally made a full recovery at the end of the month. After recovering from his injuries, Su Wuji and Yu Ruxin went to the Demon Hunters Association together. They planned to check how many Demon Hunter points they had left after failing the previous Demon Hunter mission. They needed to exchange them for some healing pills in case they needed them. Moreover, they had pretty much used up all the money they had to treat Su Wuji's injuries over the past month. Sigh, what a pity. We really shouldn't have provoked that heart-freezing Fong, Su Wuji sighed. At that moment, he also thought of Xueqi and Zhang Liuxue, who had trained with him a few times in the past. It was rather a pity. Although he already had Yu Ruxin, when he saw a beautiful woman, he still felt some fondness from the bottom of his heart. It was just a pity that Xueqi and Zhang Liuxue had actually died at the hands of the heart-chilling Bone Tooth. It was truly a pity. What? Do you really think it's a pity? Yu Ruxin snorted softly. If they were still here, would something have happened between you and them? How could that be? Nothing like that. Su Wuji explained in a hurry. Didn't Wei Binghai fancy the two of them? In the end, he didn't even turn around to save them. That person sure is cowardly. He was clearly the one who brought them on the Monster Hunter mission, yet he ended up causing the deaths of others and running back himself. He quickly changed the topic to Wei Binghai. So what? Yu Ruxin snorted. Isn't Wei Binghai still having a good time in Dragon Ice City, eating, drinking, and having fun? He's everywhere. Beauties are even lining up at his residence. It's said that he's about to break through and reach the 8th layer of the Divine Martial Realm. I just don't know if he's broken through yet. Even if he has, let's not go on the Monster Hunter mission with him. He's too much of a scammer. Su Wuji finally understood Wei Binghai's character after being heavily injured this time. He no longer wanted to be associated with him. We've arrived at the Monster Hunter Association. Let's go in and have a look first. Su Wuji raised his head and saw the gate of the Demon Hunters Association. He lifted his foot and wanted to walk in. However, at this moment, Yurushin tugged at his arm before glancing to the side. She pouted her lips in some surprise. Look, aren't those two? Shi Weiying and Zhang Liuxue? What? Su Wuji's expression changed slightly. He hurriedly glanced in the direction that Yurushin was pointing at, and sure enough, he saw the two women walking hand in hand towards the main entrance of the Monster Hunters Association. It's really them. How is it possible that the heart-chilling teeth didn't kill them? Yurushin was shocked. She had mentally prepared herself a long time ago, believing that these two women had already died to the hands of Heartless and Bony. In fact, when she returned from the Dragon Ice Canyon that day, she believed that these two women were definitely dead. But now, the two women appeared in front of her unscathed. More importantly, the two women were talking and laughing. Their relationship was not bad. Most importantly, they were talking and laughing. Didn't that mean they were in a good mood? If they were in a good mood, then nothing could have happened to Kong Shinmu. If it were not for the fact that the two women were in a good mood, Yurushin definitely would have thought that Kong Shinmu had risked his life to save the two women from the heart-chilling teeth before sacrificing himself. This would have made her think slightly more highly of Kong Shinmu. But now, Yurushin truly had no idea what was going on. Could the heart-chilling teeth be so kind as to spare them? No, that's impossible. Why would a demonic beast spare a dragon cultivator? Someone else definitely passed by at the time, which was why they were able to be saved. As for where Kong Shinmu is right now, it's not difficult to guess. He probably hasn't recovered from his injuries from withstanding the heart-chilling teeth's attack earlier. Yurushin could not help but whisper to Su Wuji. Su Wuji was already heavily injured, unconscious at the time, so he did not know the exact situation. However, from what Yurushin said, he felt that this was probably what she guessed. After all, Yurushin would never lie to him. Shi Weiying and Zhang Liuxue, who were approaching them, naturally saw Yurushin and Su Wuji. However, the two women no longer had any thoughts about this couple. After all, Yurushin had fled immediately and did not care about them at all. They were the only ones who had stayed behind to fight alongside Kong Shinmu. Fortunately, Kong Shinmu was powerful. Otherwise, they would have died at the hands of the heart-chilling teeth. In reality, if Wei Binghai had not acted on his own and even tried to harm Kong Shinmu really would not have minded bringing them to hunt 3 9th Firmament demons so that they could complete the Monster Hunter mission. Unfortunately, Wei Binghai had run away too quickly. Since that was the case, there was no need to be nice to them. Shi Weiying and Zhang Liuxue ignored Yurushin and Su Wuji. They walked straight into the Monster Hunter Guild. Let's go. Follow them. Yurushin and Su Wuji hurriedly followed them. They had come to inquire about Monster Hunter points, but they wondered why Shi Weiying and Zhang Liuxue had come to the Monster Hunter Guild. Could it be that they had been doing Monster Hunter missions recently and had come to submit their missions? Very soon, Yurushin and Su Wuji stepped into the Monster Hunter Guild. They followed the two women and headed towards the inner region of the Monster Hunter Guild. What are they doing in there? Yurushin knew that the two women definitely did not like her at the moment, but she still wanted to know why the two women had come to the Monster Hunter Guild. If we go any further in, we'll only reach the counter for submitting ice cores. Could it be that they're here to submit ice cores in exchange for Monster Hunter points? Su Wuji frowned slightly as he guessed. It's possible, but what kind of heavenly demon can they kill? At most, they can obtain a 4th-grade ice core. Even a 5th-grade ice core is very difficult to obtain, so there aren't many Monster Hunter points that can be exchanged for 4th-grade ice cores, Yurushin said casually. Yurushin replied casually. Previously, she had followed Wei Binghai with Su Wuji and mainly dealt with 5th to 8th layer heavenly demons. Their main objective was to collect 5th-grade ice cores. Right now, she felt that it would be very difficult for Shi Weiying and Zhang Liuxue to deal with these demonic beasts even if they seemed to have broken through a layer. As a result, she felt that the two women had come to submit 4th-grade ice cores. However, very soon, Yurushin's mouth fell open. She was so shocked that she could not speak at all. This was because she saw Shi Weiying take out a large pile of ice cores from her bosom. These ice cores were filled with energy, and she could tell with a single glance that they were definitely not 4th-grade ice cores, nor were they 5th-grade ice cores. Instead, they were 6th-grade ice cores. There are so many 6th-grade ice cores. How is this possible? Yu Ruxin was so shocked that she suspected that her eyes were deceiving her. She rubbed her eyes in a hurry and opened them again. She discovered that the powerful members of the Monster Hunter Guild were currently counting the number of 6th grade ice cores for them. They really are 6th grade ice cores. Yu Ruxin's heart shuddered. She was practically in disbelief. She could not understand how these two women could possess 20 to 36th grade ice cores when Wei Binghai and the rest of them could not even kill a 9th layer heavenly demon. Heart-freezing bone. Chapter 40-34. Yu Ruxin refused to believe that Shi Yueying and Zhang Liuxue had hunted these 20 to 36th grade ice cores on their own. It was absolutely impossible. She did not even consider Kong Xinmu. This was because Kong Xinmu was only at the 6th layer of the divine martial realm, the same level as her and Su Wuji. How could he have killed a 9th layer heavenly fae? It was already extremely difficult for him to survive Chilling Heart's attack. Killing other 9th layer heavenly fae was no different from suicide. As a result, she could not help but suspect that the two women had hooked up with someone else, which was why they had obtained these 20 to 36th grade ice cores. But that's strange. Who would be willing to give them 20 to 36th grade ice cores? So many 6th grade ice cores are worth close to 1 million Monster Hunter points. Even for Nirvana Tribulation Realm Dragon martial artists, it's not a small sum. Yu Ruxin could not understand it no matter how she thought about it. Su Wuji was also shocked. He was in complete disbelief. He lowered his voice and said, "That's right. Close to 1 million Monster Hunter points are enough to exchange for several rare natural treasures and increase one's strength greatly. Yet they're actually giving them away. I really can't understand it. Unless it's a super powerhouse who has reached the peak a long time ago. But why would a super powerhouse like that take a liking to these two women?" Yu Ruxin was unable to hold it in. A sliver of envy and jealousy naturally welled up inside her. Soon after, she and Su Wuji watched as the Monster Hunter Guild's experts collected all the 6th grade ice cores under their astonished gazes. Then they gave Shi Yueying and Zhang Liuxue the corresponding points. "We only need to hand over 26th grade ice cores. Each of us can choose a 3rd grade dragon martial technique. We'll keep the remaining 9 ice cores for now and hand them over when they return." At this moment, Shi Yueying put away the remaining 9 6th grade ice cores, which confused many of the surrounding people. How could the two of them obtain 6th grade ice cores? With their strength, it was absolutely impossible. In that case, it was probably because they followed someone else that they were able to kill a 9th firmament demon and obtain a 6th grade ice core. In that case, the person they were waiting for should be helping them kill a 9th firmament demon, right? Many people were curious. Who would bring these two beauties to hunt sky demons? One had to know that with the two women's strength, they wouldn't be of much use against 9th firmament sky demons. In other words, their companions were definitely extremely powerful. Unfortunately, no one knew who was leading them to hunt 9th firmament demons. Of course, they wouldn't say it out loud for no reason. Very quickly, the two girls were brought to the interior of the Demon Hunters Association, where the dragon martial skills were kept. These dragon martial skills were all ancient records of the Demon Hunters Association's dragon martial skills that had been cultivated to the heaven grade by the experts of the Demon Hunters Association. Each ancient record could only allow one dragon martial artist to start cultivating that dragon martial skill. Shi Yueying possessed the 5 extreme mystic ice force, an ice-attributed talent. Therefore, she chose a 3rd grade dragon martial skill, Icicle Heavenly Snow, and was prepared to cultivate it when she returned. Although there were many 3rd grade dragon martial skills in Dragon Prison City's Shi residence, none of them were suitable for her ice-attributed dragon martial skills. She never expected that she would obtain such a cultivation manual for a dragon martial skill when she followed Kong Xinmu to Dragon Ice City. It was an unexpected harvest. As for Zhang Liuxue, she had obtained the Sky Mystic Jade Fire Dragon's Heritage Blood Essence. The 3rd grade dragon martial skill she chose was the Blue Mystic Green Blaze Break, an extremely domineering offensive dragon martial skill. Generally speaking, only Nirvana Tribulation Realm Dragon martial artists could obtain a 3rd grade dragon martial skill. Like Kong Xinmu, who had obtained a 3rd grade dragon martial skill from an expert at the Divine Martial Realm, Shadow Dragon Fong Transformation was rare in the entire Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. However, when one reached the Nirvana Tribulation Realm, it would be easier for a dragon martial artist to obtain a 3rd grade dragon martial technique. Of course, This referred to a dragon martial artist who had inherited the blood essence of a heavenly dragon or above. If it was only a true dragon or an ordinary dragon, no one would be willing to give them a third-grade dragon martial technique. As for hunting demonic beasts and obtaining demon hunter points to exchange for a third-grade dragon martial skill, it was not easy. If one only had the true dragon's heritage blood essence, one would need to be at least at the 4th or 5th Nirvana Tribulation realm to hunt an ordinary 9th heavenly demon. Demonic beasts were different from dragon martial artists. In the demonic beast's environment, if the demonic beast's bloodline was not pure enough, which meant that it only had the blood essence of a true dragon or mortal dragon, then it would be eliminated in the demonic beast's environment. Very few could cultivate to the 9th heavenly demon realm. Generally speaking, demonic beasts that could reach the 9th heavenly demon realm were pure-blooded demonic beasts that had inherited the sky dragon's blood essence. Now, Zhang Liuxue and Shi Yueying had each obtained a third-grade dragon martial skill. To them, it was a huge improvement. Most importantly, the third-grade dragon martial skill chosen by the Demon Hunters Guild was very suitable for their innate strength. This icicle wheel sky snow is at least twice as powerful as the dragon martial skill I learned in the past. As long as I cultivate it to the earth rank, it will greatly increase my strength. Shi Yueying decided that she would cultivate this third-grade dragon martial skill as quickly as possible to increase her strength. Green Mystic Azure Blaze is a dragon martial skill specially designed for Jade Fire Dragon lineage dragon martial artists. I wonder which senior cultivated it, but this dragon martial skill can allow my Heaven Mystic Jade Fire Xian energy to be at its strongest. As long as I cultivate it to the earth rank, it will not be a problem for me to challenge someone of a higher rank. Zhang Liuxue was also somewhat excited. The Heaven Mystic Jade Fire Dragon was a rather powerful divine dragon inheritance of the Jade Fire Dragon lineage. Being able to obtain the Green Mystic Azure Blaze would allow her strength to rise to a new level. When they picked out the dragon martial arts and came out of the Demon Hunters Association's collection pavilion, they noticed that countless people in the Demon Hunters Association were looking at them with envy. At the same time, Su Wuji and Yu Ruxin approached him in a hurry. Flowing Snow, Yueying, where did you get so many 6th-grade ice cores? And those 6th-grade ice cores, who are they for? Yu Ruxin could not help herself. Although she knew that it was very likely that he did not like her, she still wanted to ask and see whether he would give her an answer or not. It's naturally Kong Shinmu. We worked with him to hunt these 9th firmament demons. Of course, the most important thing is that Kong Shinmu is very powerful. He can withstand the violent attacks of almost all the 9th firmament demons, said Meng Chuan. Shi Yueying said indifferently. She did not have a good impression of Yu Ruxin, but she was in a good mood right now, so answering a question from her was not a big deal. When Yu Ruxin and Su Wuji heard this, they were immediately stunned. Kong Shinmu? That kid who possessed the Black Divine Dragon's inherited blood essence? That kid was clearly only at the 6th firmament divine martial realm. His cultivation was the same as theirs, so how could he withstand the ferocious attacks of all the 9th firmament demons? For a moment, the two of them found it somewhat unbelievable. Chapter 40-35. Su Wuji and Yu Ruxin were shocked as they watched Shi Yueying and Zhang Liuxue walk towards the entrance of the Demon Hunters Guild. They didn't know what else to say to them. In any case, they absolutely didn't believe that Kong Shinmu had led them to hunt these 9th firmament heavenly demons. It wasn't like they hadn't seen Kong Shinmu before. He was only at the 6th firmament of the God martial realm. How could he defeat a 9th firmament heavenly demon? That was a difference of 3 firmament. In the entire Dragon Eye City, there probably wasn't a single person who could kill a demon beast that was 3 firmament heavenly demons. Even the son of an important figure like Wei Binghai, a 7th firmament God martial realm dragon warrior, would find it difficult to deal with a 9th firmament heavenly demon that was 2 firmament heavenly demons, much less others. If it was really as they said, that Kong Shinmu could kill a 9th firmament heavenly demon, then this kid would probably be famous in the entire Flame Dragon Emperor's dynasty. He wouldn't be as unknown as he was now. Zhang Liuxue and Shi Yueying naturally didn't care about the dragon warrior couple and wanted to leave first. But just as they were about to leave the Demon Hunters Guild's entrance, a group of 5 young people came towards them. The one leading them was the scion who had abandoned them a month ago, Wei Binghai. Wei Binghai happened to be feeling bored at this moment, so he gathered 4 good friends and prepared to accept some demon hunting missions from the Demon Hunters Guild. Then they would head out to train and see if they could obtain any unexpected rewards. He didn't expect to see two beauties he thought were dead when he arrived at the entrance of the Demon Hunters Guild. Yueying Liu Xue? Wei Binghai was stunned when he saw the two women walking towards him. He found it hard to believe. Aren't you? Where's that heart-chilling bone? Could it be that you were saved by someone? He didn't look too good. After all, abandoning one's companions in battle to flee was universally despised by the dragon martial artist community. If this matter were to spread, it would have a negative impact on his reputation and even the reputation of his family. Who's this, sir? We don't know you. Please move aside. Zhang Liushue's expression was cold. She didn't look at Wei Binghai at all. She pretended not to know him and tried to circle around him. Wei Binghai was naturally happy to see such a situation. Since the other party didn't recognize him, it meant that he wouldn't have to suffer the moral condemnation of running away. But Zhang Liushue's words really didn't give him any face, and it made him very unhappy with Zi Wei. He thought to himself, even if this young master abandoned you and ran away, it was still pardonable under those circumstances. Turning around and pretending not to know this young master, you're really too rude to this young master. Just as he was thinking about this, another young master beside him suddenly stood up. This guy had a protruding mouth and a wretched expression. He stood up and pointed at Zhang Liushue, saying, "You don't even know Wei Binghai, young Master Wei? You don't even know young Master Wei, and yet you dare to come out and do as you please in Dragon Eye City? It's your honor that young Master Wei knows you. Don't be so shameless." It was obvious that this kid was Wei Binghai's lackey, and he immediately stood up to give Wei Binghai face. However, Zhang Liushue naturally wouldn't lower herself to his level. "Let's go." Zhang Liushue pulled Shi Yueying and walked around the other party, completely ignoring Wei Binghai's group. If they were outside, Wei Binghai's group would probably explode and definitely wouldn't let them walk away just like that. But in Dragon Eye City, in the Demon Hunters Association, they ultimately didn't dare to act recklessly. One had to know that if they angered the experts of the Demon Hunters Association, even the City Lord of Dragon Eye City wouldn't be able to protect them. And within the vicinity of the Demon Hunters Association, fighting was absolutely forbidden. This was something that the Demon Hunters Association had clearly stipulated. Hence, Wei Binghai and the others could only watch as Zhang Liushue and Shi Yueying walked away from them. They didn't dare to step forward to stop them. No matter what they said, the two girls didn't turn back and quickly disappeared from everyone's sight. They were rushing back to the inn to properly cultivate the third-grade dragon martial technique that they had just obtained. However, what they didn't know was that Wei Binghai, who had been left behind by them, was filled with rage. When Yu Ruxin and Su Wuji, who were still in the Demon Hunters Association, saw that Wei Binghai had brought people over, they originally wanted to ignore him, but they were truly shocked that Shi Yueying and Su Wuji had obtained so many 6th-grade ice cores. As a result, they looked at each other and walked towards Wei Binghai. "Young Master Wei, we meet again." Yu Ruxin approached him and smiled. "Young Master Wei, perhaps you still don't know, but they brought over 26th-grade ice cores and exchanged them for 2 3rd-grade dragon martial techniques. Even you, young Master Wei, probably haven't cultivated a 3rd-grade dragon martial technique yet, right?" Wei Binghai was originally dissatisfied with Yu Ruxin. After all, Yu Ruxin hadn't visited him in the past month. Clearly, she was dissatisfied with him. However, after hearing Yu Ruxin's words, Wei Binghai couldn't care less about his slight dissatisfaction with her. His expression changed from one of displeasure to one of shock. He turned to look outside the Demon Hunters Association, in the direction that Shi Yueying and Zhang Liushue had disappeared to. His face was filled with disbelief. "What did you say?" "They brought over 6th-grade ice cores." "And over 20 of them? How is that possible?" 6th-grade ice cores are treasures that can only be obtained by hunting 9th firmament heavenly demons. The expression of a handsome young master behind Wei Binghai changed slightly. Judging from their cultivation realms, they are only at the 5th firmament divine martial realm. It's impossible for them to hunt 9th firmament heavenly demons. "We thought so too." Yu Ruxin chuckled. "However, we asked them. They said that it was that kid named Kong Shinmu who led them to hunt 9th firmament heavenly demons." "Young Master Wei, do you think this is believable? If that kid, Kong Shinmu, can hunt 9th firmament heavenly demons, then—" "Oh!" A ferocious glint flashed in Wei Binghai's eyes. He hadn't thought of this possibility because it was too unbelievable. Wasn't that kid named Kong Shinmu only at the 6th firmament divine martial realm? Even if he could raise his cultivation realm by 1, he would only be at the 7th firmament divine martial realm. Just like Wei Binghai, it was impossible for him to survive Chilling Heart's attack. But from the looks of it, that kid seemed to be able to deal with 9th firmament heavenly demons easily? You must be bragging, right? Wei Binghai sneered. A kid at the 6th firmament divine martial realm, at most the 7th firmament divine martial realm, can hunt 9th firmament heavenly demons? It's possible if there are many people, but it's impossible with just that kid and those 2 girls who don't know what's good for them. What if it's true? Su Wuji said from the side. Chapter 40-36. Wei Binghai had always been regarded as a proud son of heaven. He was one of the strongest dragon martial artists of his generation in Dragon Ice City. The divine dragon inheritance blood essence he had obtained was from a Skyfrost ice dragon, an extremely powerful ice attribute divine dragon. Among the dragon martial artists of the same realm, he was considered rather powerful. But now, Kong Shinmu, who was merely at the 6th tier of the divine vein realm, said that he could kill a 9th tier heavenly demon. This was something that he found difficult to do. This made him feel like he was being sized up. More importantly, this was not a private place, but the main hall of the Demon Hunters Guild. Many people in the surroundings cast their gazes over. Previously, many people in the Demon Hunters Guild knew that Wei Binghai had led a team to kill a 9th tier heavenly demon and obtain a 6th grade ice core. Now that they saw this scene, many people were pointing at Wei Binghai, obviously mocking him. Wei Binghai was originally arrogant and despotic in Dragon Ice City. Although he did not do anything to dominate the market, he still made people unhappy with him. Everyone was jealous, especially Wei Binghai, who was born with a top-notch talent. Therefore, this matter had already become the topic of discussion for many people in private. Wei Binghai had many informants in Dragon Ice City, so he naturally knew that he had embarrassed himself over this matter. Now, he did not expect Shi Yueying and Jiang Liuxue to return to the Demon Hunters Guild and hand over 20 to 36th grade ice cores. This made Wei Binghai even more embarrassed. Take good care of those 2 girls for this young master. You must report to this young master whenever they come into contact with anyone. Wei Binghai gave the order, and the bodyguards who secretly followed and protected him obeyed. 2 dragon martial artists left quietly and followed Shi Yueying and Jiang Liuxue. Shi Yueying and Jiang Liuxue were completely unaware that someone was following them. The 2 girls only wanted to return to the inn as soon as possible and successfully cultivate the 3rd grade dragon martial technique they had just obtained. Icy Wheel Heavenly Snow and Blue Profound Green Flame Break. If they were to successfully master these 2 grade 3 dragon martial techniques, their strength would at least double. Therefore, to them, the most important thing was to cultivate these 2 dragon martial skills. As for Kong Shinmu, they were naturally not worried because even if something happened to Kong Shinmu, it would be useless for them to worry about him. Even if they were with Kong Shinmu, if Kong Shinmu encountered any danger, they wouldn't be able to help much. For the next 7 days, they stayed in the tavern and practiced the grade 3 dragon martial skill. Their talent was about the same, so the speed at which they practiced the grade 3 dragon martial skill was about the same. 7 days later, they finally succeeded in cultivating the 3rd grade dragon martial skill. Although they had only reached the human level, the power of these 2 moves was still greater than all the dragon skills they had learned before. At this time, Kong Shinmu finally returned. When Kong Shinmu arrived at their inn, the 2 girls had just finished cultivating the grade 3 dragon martial skill and came out to greet him happily. When the 3 of them separated at the Dragon Ice Canyon, the 2 girls had already told Kong Shinmu where they were staying, so Kong Shinmu could directly come to them. Divine Martial Realm, you actually broke through and reached LV7 of the Divine Martial Realm. When they saw Kong Shinmu again, the 2 girls' eyes lit up. Because when they separated 7 days ago, Kong Shinmu was only at LV6 of the Divine Martial Realm. In such a short time, he had actually advanced a level and reached LV7 of the Divine Martial Realm. They still remembered that when they left Zhonglong City with Kong Shinmu's cultivation was much lower than it was now. This speed is too terrifying. That's right. If the other dragon warriors wanted to raise their cultivation by 1 level, they would need at least a few months to do so. The 2 girls looked up and down at Kong Shinmu with excitement. To others, the 2 girls were a bit cold, but only to Kong Shinmu, they would show a smile, like flowers blooming in spring, and they were gentle. The improvement of Kong Shinmu's strength was naturally a good thing for them. In this regard, Kong Shinmu was naturally happy. After all, who wouldn't be happy when their strength improved? However, Kong Shinmu was very clear that even if he had improved, his strength was nothing. If he wanted to save his father, he was still too far away. In the entire Dragon Martial Continent, there was probably no one who could save Jiang Zizai. Therefore, Kong Shinmu's next short-term goal was definitely to become the strongest in the entire Dragon Martial Continent, but this was still not enough to save his father. Just this goal alone is already unimaginable for ordinary people, but for me. As Kong Shinmu thought to himself, his willpower became stronger. He knew that the black dragon consciousness in his body was probably also an existence that surpassed the existence of this Dragon Martial Continent, and the devouring talent that he had comprehended could continue to increase his strength, and the grade of the divine dragon essence and blood would continue to increase. As long as he did not die, Kong Shinmu believed that one day he could reach the level of saving his father. Right. Kong Shinmu shook his head, pulled his thoughts back to reality, and asked the two girls, "When I came back just now, I saw someone sneaking around outside the inn, as if he was watching you. Did you notice?" "No." The two girls looked at each other and shook their heads, a little embarrassed. These days, we have been practicing the dragon martial skill, and did not step out of the inn even half a step. Ha ha. At this moment, a loud laugh came from outside the inn. Kong Shinmu and the two girls, who were standing at the entrance of the inn, turned their heads and found that they actually saw a familiar person. Wei Binghai. Young Master Wei? Kong Shinmu narrowed his eyes. He did not expect that it was Wei Binghai. In that case, it was probably Wei Binghai's people who were sneaking around outside just now. Why is this young master spying on me? Kong Shinmu, you are back. Wei Binghai looked at Kong Shinmu with a condescending expression and laughed. I did not expect you to break through to the 7th level of the divine martial realm. It seems that you have the help of a benefactor. Not bad, not bad. Your luck is not bad. I don't know what you are talking about. Kong Shinmu shook his head. He could not be bothered to pay attention to this young master. Then you are saying that you brought these two girls to hunt 20 to 39th level demons, and it was all done by you alone? Wei Binghai made an exaggerated expression, clearly showing that he did not believe it. However, Kong Shinmu did not make him believe it either. In any case, to Kong Shinmu, this Wei Binghai was just a coward who had escaped midway, and there was no value in befriending him. Even if his status in Dragon Ice City was rather high, Kong Shinmu did not want to be friends with him. What has this got to do with you? Kong Shinmu chuckled and turned his head. Shi Weiing, Zhang Liu Xue, let's continue hunting demon beasts, it's still the Dragon Ice Canyon. Okay. The two girls replied in unison. Chapter 4037. When Kong Shinmu returned, someone immediately informed Wei Binghai of his whereabouts. Then, Wei Binghai couldn't help but come over. His goal was naturally to carefully observe Kong Shinmu. He wanted to know what means he had to be able to hunt a 9th firmament sky demon. From the looks of it, Kong Shinmu's cultivation level was only at the 7th firmament divine martial realm. Although his cultivation level was 1 firmament higher than before, it was only about the same as Wei Binghai. From this, Wei Binghai felt that Kong Shinmu was definitely not a 9th firmament sky demon that he had brought the two women to hunt. Humph. Why are you still pretending? Wei Binghai moved and blocked in front of Kong Shinmu. He sneered and said, Kong Shinmu, do you dare to fight me? Even I am not a match for an ordinary 9th firmament sky demon. Do you really think you are some peerless genius that is stronger than me? Jiang Shenwu didn't care about his words at all. He frowned slightly. Are you crazy or something? How did I, Kong Shinmu, offend you? Hurry up and make way. Heh, you don't dare to accept the challenge, right? Wei Binghai snorted coldly. To think that these two beauties trust you so much. You only used some tricks when you brought them to hunt that 9th firmament sky demon. When it comes to displaying your true strength, you don't dare to accept it. Just treat it as me using some tricks. Now, can you make way? Kong Shinmu said indifferently. He had no interest in dueling Wei Binghai. Kong Shinmu couldn't be bothered to do something that didn't bring him any benefits. After all, Dragon Ice City was only a temporary place for him to stay. If he really couldn't stay here any longer, it would be the same for him to train elsewhere. Wei Binghai seemed to have expected Kong Shinmu's impatience. He chuckled. I knew you wouldn't dare to agree. However, I've already prepared a bargaining chip. Look, what's this? As soon as he finished speaking, he took out a small porcelain bottle from his bosom. This small porcelain bottle obviously contained some kind of pill. He opened the lid of the small porcelain bottle and showed it to Kong Shinmu and the others. Look, this is the Clear Spirit Snow Pill. The Clear Spirit Snow Pill was a precious pill refined from many heavenly materials and earthly treasures. It was especially suitable for ice attribute dragon martial artists to take, and it could promote the dragon martial artist's absorption of heaven and earth spiritual energy. If a dragon warrior of the ice attribute took it, especially a dragon warrior of the divine martial realm, it was very likely that he would be able to directly raise his cultivation by one level. Furthermore, it could also strengthen the cold aura within the body of a dragon martial artist, making their talent even stronger and the temperature of the power of ice even lower. This thing was useless to Kong Shinmu. If he wanted to raise his cultivation level, he had many resources in the Heaven Awakening Demon realm. Every month he returned, he could obtain natural treasures equivalent to several Clear Spirit Snow Pills, which he could use as much as he wanted. However, this was an extremely precious item to Shi Yueying. I wonder when the 5 elements' mysterious ice power will awaken, Kong Shinmu thought to himself. Right now, Shi Yueying could be said to have a close relationship with him. If Shi Yueying's strength increased, it would be of great help to him. It was just that he didn't know what Wei Binghai's motive was for taking out this Clear Spirit Snow Pill. What about this Clear Spirit Snow Pill? Kong Shinmu asked indifferently. On the surface, he didn't show much interest in it. With this item as a wager, do you dare to accept this young master's challenge? Wei Binghai chuckled and said, if you are really that strong, accept this young master's challenge. If you defeat this young master will give this Clear Spirit Snow Pill to you. I don't need to say more about how important this thing is to Miss Shi Yueying, right? Young master, this is something that master gave you to help you break through to the 9th level of the divine martial realm. How can you use it as a wager? At this time, one of Wei Binghai's lackeys immediately stood up and said with some panic. What do you know? Step down. Wei Binghai's face darkened and he directly scolded his lackeys. What a joke. Since when did his lackeys have the right to interfere with his decisions? Although this Clear Spirit Snow Pill was precious, he could guarantee that Kong Shinmu was definitely not his match. This Clear Spirit Snow Pill could never be obtained by Kong Shinmu. Therefore, he just wanted to force Kong Shinmu to fight with him. Kong Shinmu showed a look of interest. Wei Binghai really wanted to use this Clear Spirit Snow Pill as a wager to provoke him to accept the challenge. It wasn't difficult for Kong Shinmu to accept Wei Binghai's challenge. Although Wei Binghai was already in the 8th level of the divine martial realm, which was 1 level higher than him, why would Kong Shinmu be afraid of 2 levels? However, if Kong Shinmu accepted Wei Binghai's challenge just like that, it would be too stupid. Sure. Since you are in such a hurry to give this pill to me, then I will accept your challenge. Of course I have a condition. Kong Shinmu smiled faintly. This challenge must have a fair witness. Before the challenge, you must hand this Clear Spirit Snow Pill to that witness. What do you mean? Are you saying that I will admit defeat and go back on my word? Wei Binghai was instantly enraged. Kong Shinmu's words really pissed him off. That's hard to say. Could it be that you don't dare to hand the Clear Spirit Snow Pill to someone else for safekeeping? Kong Shinmu chuckled. In that case, it's fine if I don't agree to this challenge. Otherwise, if this guy went back on his word, Kong Shinmu really couldn't do anything to him. After all, Wei Binghai could really be said to be covering the sky with one hand in Dragon Ice City. Then tell me, what kind of witness do you want? In Dragon Ice City, who can make you and I feel at ease? Wei Binghai asked coldly. Very simple. The person in charge of the Demon Hunters Guild in Dragon Ice City. Kong Shinmu said naturally without any hesitation. What? Wei Binghai and the people behind him were all shocked. The person in charge of the Demon Hunters Guild. The Demon Hunters Guild was an organization that could be found throughout the entire Dragon Martial Continent. It held an important position in the entire Yen Dragon Emperor dynasty. Although Dragon Eye City wasn't small, compared to the Demon Hunters Guild, It was like comparing a sesame seed to a watermelon. The person in charge of the Demon Hunters Guild in Dragon Ice City would definitely not be lower than the Dragon Ice City's city lord. Furthermore, he was absolutely neutral in many matters. If they were to find him as a witness, there was no need to worry that he would side with either side. However, the key problem was that to find the person in charge of Dragon Ice City as a witness, whether it was Kong Shinmu or Wei Binghai, neither of them were qualified. Ha ha ha. This young master is going to die of laughter. Wei Binghai couldn't help but laugh out loud. Do you think we are fools? What kind of status does the person in charge of the Demon Hunters Guild have? How can he be a witness for our challenge? If my father were to make a move, he might be able to invite him over. But I can't. Or, Kong Shinmu, do you have a way to invite this big shot? Ha ha ha. His voice was filled with disbelief. Even the many people behind him started laughing. Chapter 4038. Even Wei Binghai had never seen the person in charge of the Demon Hunters Guild in Dragon Ice City. It was said that the person in charge was called Jiang Tianqi, a super expert who had surpassed the Nirvana Tribulation Realm and reached the Reincarnation Tribulation Realm. There were many Reincarnation Tribulation Realm experts in Dragon Ice City, and they were all important figures in the Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty. Dragon Ice City, like Dragon Prison City, was also under the rule of the Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty, and it was called Dragon Ice City. However, even in a place like this, Jiang Tianqi's strength still far surpassed that of everyone else in Dragon Ice City. Even Wei Binghai's father respected Jiang Tianqi very much. How could such a person participate in a duel between two juniors? Therefore, Wei Binghai and the people behind him all scoffed at Kong Shinmu's idea. It was impossible to get Jiang Tianqi to testify for their duel. Even Wei Binghai's father couldn't do it. Ordinary people naturally can't get the person in charge of the Demon Hunters Guild, but I can. Kong Shinmu looked at the mocking expressions on Wei Binghai's face and smiled faintly. He said confidently, "If you don't believe me, no one will force you to believe me. However, if I get the person in charge to come out, Wei Binghai, you better not go back on your word. This duel will be waged with the Clear Spirit Snow Pill as the wager. You can't go back on your word. Ha ha, do what you want. If you can really get Mr. Jiang Tianqi to come out, go ahead." Wei Binghai wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he became excited. "Let's go. I'll go with you and see how you get Mr. Jiang Tianqi to come out." Jiang Tianqi was a super expert and the person in charge of the Demon Hunters Guild in Dragon Ice City. Not only was he strong, but he also had a lot of influence. Not many people in the Yen Dragon Emperor's dynasty dared to provoke the Demon Hunters Guild. As the person in charge of the Demon Hunters Guild in Dragon Ice City, Jiang Tianqi's status was respected and he had considerable power. Even Wei Binghai didn't dare to disobey his words. "In that case, let's go." Kong Shinmu glanced at Wei Binghai and his followers. He didn't take them seriously and headed straight for the Demon Hunters Guild. Shi Weiying and Jiang Liuxue looked at each other and hurriedly followed. Without a doubt, the two women's eyes flickered with worry, but there was also a hint of anticipation hidden within. To them, there seemed to be nothing Kong Shinmu couldn't do. Now that Kong Shinmu said that he could invite the person in charge of the Demon Hunters Association, Jiang Tianqi, it was most likely possible. What method would he use to invite Jiang Tianqi out? Filled with nervousness and curiosity, the two girls followed Kong Shinmu's footsteps and strolled towards the Demon Hunters Association. Wei Binghai and his followers also followed behind, laughing at them. However, Kong Shinmu and the two women didn't care about their mockery at all. So what if they ridiculed him? They would not lose a piece of flesh. When Tianji was invited out, the ones who would lose face would be Wei Binghai and the others. The more they laughed at them now, the more face they would lose when the time came. As they approached the Demon Hunters Association, Wei Binghai and his followers continued to ridicule them and deliberately talked loudly, so many people along the way heard the news. A mere dragon warrior at the 7th level of the divine martial arts realm wanted to challenge Wei Binghai to a duel, and even threatened to invite the person in charge of the Demon Hunters Association, Mr. Jiang Tianqi, to testify for this duel. The news spread like wildfire. Because this matter involved Jiang Tianqi, many of the older generation of Dragon Ice City martial artists paid attention to it. They were all curious as to which young man dared to ask Jiang Tianqi to come out and be a witness. This matter quickly spread throughout Dragon Ice City, and it spread far and wide. far beyond Kong Shinmu's original expectations. When he arrived at the Demon Hunters Association, there were already hundreds of people following him, pointing at him and whispering. They all wanted to see how far he could go. Wei Binghai and his lackeys were still following behind, standing outside the Demon Hunters Association. Kid, go in and ask the person in charge to come out and be the witness for the duel. That's right, why aren't you going? Are you afraid because there are too many people and you want to go back on your word? Hee hee hee. A kid still wet behind the ears dares to threaten to invite Mr. Jiang Tianqi? What wishful thinking. I'll teach him a lesson today. Kong Shinmu didn't care about these mockery at all. Shinwu, are you confident? Shi Weiing, who was walking with Kong Shinmu, lowered her voice and asked. It wasn't that she had doubts about Kong Shinmu, but she just wanted to confirm her feelings. Of course. Kong Shinmu pondered for a moment and said, You guys wait outside, I'll be right back. He raised his foot and stepped into the Demon Hunters Association. Young Master Wei, shall we follow him in? Those followers asked Wei Binghai one after another. Why should we follow him in? Don't tell me you guys really believe that he can invite Mr. Jiang Tianqi out? Really, when he gets snubbed and runs out on his own, he'll know what it means to make a fool of yourself, haha. Wei Binghai shook his head. He didn't want to waste time following Kong Shinmu in. However, what he didn't know was that after Kong Shinmu stepped into the Demon Hunters Association, he directly showed something and was then brought inside by the experts of the Demon Hunters Association. Even if Wei Binghai and the rest followed him in, they wouldn't know what happened. In fact, Kong Shinmu took out an item obtained from the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm and then attracted the attention of the experts of the Demon Hunters Association. Thus, he got the opportunity to meet the person in charge, Jiang Tianqi. This item from the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm was extremely rare, but it was useless to Kong Shinmu. In the Heaven Awakening Demon Realm, there was a demon beast equivalent to the Reincarnation Tribulation Realm. It died last month, and its demon core was obtained by the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon. Kong Shinmu asked for it. Kong Shinmu originally planned to use this demon core to absorb and devour it in times of danger to recover quickly. However, after he obtained it, he realized that the power in the demon core was too violent, and he couldn't control it at all. If he really devoured it, he might explode and die. Just as he was thinking about how to deal with this thing, Wei Binghai came knocking on his door. The demon core of a powerful demon beast was useless to ordinary dragon martial artists. However, to the Demon Hunters Association, it had many uses. The demon core of the Demon Hunters Association had some special uses, but outsiders didn't know what those uses were. Anyway, Kong Shinmu knew that the Demon Hunters Association definitely lacked the demon core of such a Reincarnation Tribulation Realm demon beast. Because demon beasts of this realm all existed in the demon realm. In the outside world, places like the Dragon Ice Canyon couldn't possibly appear. Chapter 4039. Inside the Monster Hunters Association. In a room that very few people could enter, Kong Shinmu finally met the person in charge of the Dragon Ice City Monster Hunters Association, Jiang Tianqi. He was a middle-aged man in a white robe who looked gentle and refined. However, every movement of his contained an extremely mysterious power. His eyes seemed to have starlight constantly flowing, scattering, and appearing illusionary. Jiang Tianqi had been handling some matters in the room. When Kong Shinmu was brought in, he looked at Kong Shinmu from head to toe. I've heard about you. Jiang Tianqi smiled faintly. I didn't expect a young man like you to have the demon core of a demon beast that has gone through the samsara tribulation. It's really surprising. This thing is very important to the Monster Hunters Association. If you are willing to give it to the Monster Hunters Association, you can ask for more, not to mention to testify for your duel. I took this thing out to give to the Monster Hunters Association. Kong Shinmu remained calm and said to Jiang Tianqi, besides testifying for my duel with Wei Binghai, the Monster Hunters Association also has to give me a second-grade dragon technique. What do you think? Second-grade dragon technique. Hearing this, Jiang Tianqi laughed. You talk big, but you're right. To the Monster Hunters Association, we can record a dragon technique whenever we want. However, this demon core is rare, especially in Dragon Ice City. It's been a long time since I've seen a demon core of this level. I can give you the second-grade dragon technique. However, Are you really confident that you can defeat Wei Binghai? You should know that Wei Binghai's cultivation is one level higher than yours. In the divine martial realm, the strength of a cultivator's talent varies greatly with each level. Are you sure you can defeat him? When Jiang Tianqi said this, he was very curious about Jiang Shenwu. He had been working in Dragon Eye City for a long time, so he was well aware of Wei Binghai's strength. Wei Binghai was at the 8th tier of the divine martial arts realm, and he had 2 earth-grade dragon weapons, which complemented each other well. In the past, Wei Binghai had defeated opponents 1 tier higher than him. Especially during the Demon Hunters Guild's missions, Wei Binghai had really defeated a 9th Firmament Sky Demon. Don't worry. If I wasn't confident, why would I humiliate myself? Kong Xinmu asked. Ha ha ha, this young man is not bad. I like his personality. Jiang Tianqi finally stood up from his chair. If that's the case, then go. I'll be your witness for this duel. After this battle is over, come to the Demon Hunter Association to collect your 2nd grade dragon martial skill. Kong Xinmu nodded and heaved a sigh of relief. To be honest, although he knew that the monster core was of great use to the Demon Hunters Guild, he had never thought that it would have such great value. Seeing Jiang Tianqi was within his expectations. However, being able to exchange for a Grade 2 Dragon Martial Technique was something he did not expect. A Grade 2 Dragon Martial Technique was something that even a Nirvana Tribulation Realm Dragon Martial Artist could not easily obtain. Even the Holy Dragon of the Shi Clan, Shi Tao, had only cultivated 1 or 2 moves of a Grade 2 Dragon Martial Technique. Furthermore, he had not cultivated it to the Heaven stage, so he could not pass it down to his own residence. Now, Kong Xinmu had the opportunity to cultivate a Grade 2 Dragon Martial Technique. As long as he could survive the duel with Wei Binghai, he could continue to cultivate a Grade 2 Dragon Martial Technique. Coupled with his current cultivation realm and his innate devouring power, he would definitely become even stronger. When that time came, it would not be impossible for Kong Xinmu to deal with a Nirvana Tribulation Realm opponent alone. Of course, all of this depended on Kong Xinmu choosing a Grade 2 Dragon Martial Technique that was suitable for him. Otherwise, he would not be able to display the advantage of his devouring power. In any case, he had finally succeeded in making Jiang Tianqi agree to his conditions. With regards to Jiang Tianqi's words, Kong Xinmu naturally believed it. Even if Jiang Tianqi went back on his words, there was nothing he could do. Therefore, he did not hesitate to take out the monster core and hand it to Jiang Tianqi. Jiang Tianqi took the monster core and observed it for a moment. Seeing that there was nothing wrong with it, he carefully put it away, then accompanied Kong Xinmu out of the Monster Hunters Guild. Outside the Monster Hunters Guild, hundreds of people were discussing and pointing, mainly Shi Yueying and Zhang Liuxue, who were still outside. Yueying, Liuxue, what is your relationship with this kid called Kong Xinmu? Why are you so determined to protect him? Taking advantage of Kong Xinmu's absence, Wei Binghai calmly approached the 2 girls. This kid is obviously talking nonsense. He's such an unreliable person, yet he wants to invite Mr. Jiang Tianqi. What wishful thinking. If you follow him, you'll probably suffer a lot in the future. Why don't you follow me? You'll have a good life and you'll have plenty of cultivation resources. I guarantee that you'll improve faster than before. What do you think? No matter what Wei Binghai said or what he said, the 2 girls ignored him. Previously in Dragon Ice Canyon, this person had fled from Chilling Heart, which had already caused the 2 girls to completely reject him. So now, Wei Binghai was even more transparent than air to the 2 girls. In public, Wei Binghai really couldn't do anything to them. After saying this, the 2 girls completely ignored him, only looking into the Monster Hunters Guild. This situation was driving Wei Binghai crazy. Because so many people were watching, but the 2 girls ignored him. How much face did this make him lose? Humph. Is it because of that kid called Kong Xinmu? I'll definitely let you know that there's a difference between people and dragon warriors. He snorted coldly and said this without hesitation. But these words just happened to be heard by Kong Xinmu and Jiang Tianqi. There's indeed a difference between people and dragon warriors. Kong Xinmu said coldly, then stepped out and appeared in front of everyone again. Seeing his figure, Wei Binghai suddenly laughed out loud. Ha ha ha, you admit this yourself? You're out. Where's Mr. Jiang Tianqi? Why didn't he come out with you? Haha, I'm really disappointing the beauties. Just as he said that, a figure dressed in a white robe appeared at the entrance of the Demon Hunters Association, following Jiang Xinwu's footsteps. His expression was calm and composed, and there was a faint smile on his face. Wasn't this the person in charge of Dragon Eye City's Monster Hunters Guild, Jiang Tianqi? Seeing Jiang Tianqi's appearance, Wei Binghai's voice stopped abruptly. His eyes widened as if he was blind. He rubbed his eyes a few times to make sure that he didn't see wrongly. It was indeed Jiang Tianqi who came out with Kong Xinmu. But how was this possible? How could this kid invite Jiang Tianqi? Naturally, Wei Binghai didn't know about this. At this moment, everyone including the surrounding crowd was shocked speechless. This Jiang Tianqi really appeared. Although they didn't know why, to be able to invite Jiang Tianqi, it was enough to show that this Kong Xinmu had a certain level of ability. Just now, Wei Binghai and the others kept mocking Kong Xinmu and the two girls, saying a lot of unpleasant things. At first, the crowd didn't think much of it. Chapter 40. However, Wei Binghai still had a sliver of hope in his heart. This was because Jiang Tianqi had only come out with Kong Xinmu and had not said that he would help to be the witness of their battle. Perhaps Jiang Tianqi had just come out for a walk? Thus, Wei Binghai hurriedly turned his body and bowed to Jiang Tianqi. Junior Wei Binghai greets Mr. Jiang. After bowing first, there was no big problem. Then Wei Binghai asked, "May I know what Mr. Jiang wants now?" "You still don't know?" Jiang Tianqi glanced at Wei Binghai. There was no disgust, just an indifferent expression. After all, in Jiang Tianqi's eyes, Wei Binghai did not even have the qualifications to be discussed. "Little brother Kong Xinmu, didn't I want to have a battle with you this time? I will be the witness of this battle." Jiang Tianqi said indifferently, "Where is the clear spirit snow pill you mentioned? You can hand it over now. If you win, I will return it to you. If you lose, this clear spirit snow pill will belong to little brother Kong Xinmu." When these words came out, it was like 5 bolts of lightning striking Wei Binghai's head with a loud bang. Jiang Tianqi had actually come out to be the witness of their battle. Furthermore, he seemed to be quite close to Kong Xinmu. To Wei Binghai, this was no different from a bolt from the blue. He had never thought that the current situation would be like this. He had just mocked Kong Xinmu with others, but now, he was the one who had lost face. The news had already spread everywhere, and everyone in Dragon Eye City knew about it. Now, he had lost face in front of the entire city. How could he endure this? Jiang Tianqi's words shocked Wei Binghai and his followers to the point that they were speechless. As for the surrounding dragon warriors and residents, they all laughed out loud and pointed at Wei Binghai and the others. The news here would soon spread throughout the city. At that time, Wei Binghai would probably become the laughingstock of the entire city. Although Wei Binghai's identity was not ordinary, not everyone wanted to curry favor with him. Especially after such a thing happened, there would definitely be many people who would take this opportunity to scold him, making him unable to raise his head. After all, such a young master had never made a fool of himself in the past. Who would have thought that today he would be defeated by a youth whose cultivation was lower than his? However, this young man won't have it easy. That's right. Kong Xinmu wants to fight Wei Binghai, but his cultivation base is a level lower than Wei Binghai's. His chances of winning are slim. Furthermore, this Wei Binghai has an abundance of cultivation resources. He also has 2 dragon weapons in his hands. When used together, he is extremely powerful. Yes. Even if we have Mr. Jiang Tianqi as a witness, we still can't beat him. It's useless. Instead, we'll be burdening Mr. Jiang Tianqi. Many people began to discuss. Although Wei Binghai had lost face, his strength was still there. During this period of time, he had broken through to LV8 of the Divine Martial Realm, which was a great improvement. His strength was much stronger than before. Now, if Wei Binghai were to deal with the heart-freezing Fong, at least he wouldn't have to run away like last time. I see. Looking at Jiang Tianqi and Kong Xinmu, Wei Binghai suddenly felt that he had an idea of what was going on. It turned out that this young man had a close relationship with the Monster Hunters Union. He could even invite Mr. Jiang Tianqi. In other words, the Monster Hunters Union must have helped him in the Dragon Ice Canyon. Otherwise, How could this young man have escaped from the heart-freezing Fong? It was even more impossible for him to have obtained the 20 to 36th grade ice cores and given them to the two girls so generously. It was only because it was easy for him to obtain them that he could give them away. If it were Wei Binghai himself, he would never give away such a thing. Humph. So what if he has someone to back him up? I'm not strong enough. After this battle, everything will be over. I, Wei Binghai, am still the young master of Dragon Eye City. As he thought of this, he turned around and walked toward the training field in Dragon Eye City. This was not the first time that Wei Binghai had a duel with someone. Previously, he would provoke anyone he didn't like and try his best to trick them into coming to the training field. Then, he would defeat them and even kill them on the training field. They would either use the life of the other party's female companion to threaten them, or use the other party's family to threaten them. They would resort to any means necessary. As long as there was someone he didn't like, even if their cultivation was not as strong as him, they wouldn't have a good ending in Dragon Eye City. In the eyes of Wei Binghai and his followers, Kong Shinmu was such a guy. However, this guy had a bit of a background. He was actually a member of the Monster Hunters Union. Even so, in the training field, no one can intervene even if they want to save you. It's the same for Jiang Tianqi. The corner of Wei Binghai's mouth curled up. He already wanted to kill Kong Shinmu. This time, if he didn't kill Kong Shinmu, he wouldn't be able to vent the hatred in his heart. Kong Shinmu followed him to the training field in the city. He could clearly feel Wei Binghai's killing intent towards him, and his lips curled up slightly. He wasn't afraid of being killed by Wei Binghai at all. In fact, he was even considering if he should spare this guy's life. After all, if he let Wei Binghai live, there might be other troubles in the future. He might as well kill him and end all troubles once and for all. However, Wei Binghai's background isn't ordinary. If I kill him, his father will definitely avenge him. His father is a big shot in Dragon Eye City. He's definitely not weaker than the sacred dragon Shi Tao. Kong Shinmu was in a dilemma. To kill or not to kill? The reason I challenged him was for the clear spirit snow pill. It doesn't matter if I kill him or not. As long as he's alive, he won't have the face to ask for help from the faction behind him. Kong Shinmu pondered for a moment and finally came to a conclusion. He wouldn't kill this guy for now. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to have a moment of peace. Although he had invited Jiang Tianqi to be the witness of the duel, if he really killed him, Jiang Tianqi might not necessarily protect him. At the end of the day, Jiang Tianqi was only after that demon core. Soon, both parties arrived at Dragon Eye City's training field one after another. Shi Weiying and Zhang Liuxue followed Kong Shinmu and weren't worried at all that he would lose to Wei Binghai. From the moment Jiang Tianqi appeared, they were completely at ease. If Wei Binghai wanted to go against Kong Shinmu, he definitely wouldn't be his match. The two girls were absolutely sure of this. Many people followed them to the training field. They were all very curious about the strength of this young man, Kong Shinmu, who had suddenly appeared. He actually dared to accept Wei Binghai's challenge despite being one level lower. He was probably blinded by the clear spirit snow pill and didn't even care about his own life, right? There were originally many people sparring in the training field. There were divine dragons soaring in the air, and the power of ice talent was constantly being shaken away. Chapter 40-41. Thousands of people had gathered in the martial arts arena, and more people were coming. Kong Shinmu and Wei Binghai were already standing on the largest arena in the martial arts arena, ready to start the battle. Some of Dragon Eye City's bigwigs came to the martial arts arena and pointed at Jiang Shinwu and Wei Binghai, who were in the arena. They were all very curious about where Kong Shinmu had come from, how he had suddenly appeared, and how he was related to Jiang Tianqi of the Demon Hunters Association. Therefore, they wanted to see how strong Kong Shinmu was. Their current strength showed their talent. If Kong Shinmu was not a match for Wei Binghai, then there was nothing to worry about. However, if Wei Binghai was defeated, then the situation in Dragon Eye City might be a little different from before. Many people had even come to the Wei clan residence where Wei Binghai was to watch the battle. To them, Wei Binghai was the most talented young genius in the whole of Dragon Eye City, and there were very few people in the same generation who could be a match for him. Therefore, when they came over and saw that Wei Binghai's opponent was only at the 7th tier of the Divine Martial Realm, which was one tier lower than Wei Binghai, They immediately laughed. Who is this Kong Shinmu? Doesn't he know how powerful the young master is? The young master is basically invincible in the same realm, and he can even challenge opponents at the 9th tier of the divine martial realm. This guy is 1 tier lower than the young master, so there's no way he can defeat the young master. They were all discussing, not taking Kong Shinmu seriously at all. In the crowd, Shi Weiying and Jiang Liuxue stood together and looked at the arena without the slightest bit of worry. They knew very well that it was impossible for Kong Shinmu to be defeated by Wei Binghai. Even if he stood there without moving, Wei Binghai would not be able to do anything to Kong Shinmu. The dragon martial artist couple, Su Wuji and Yu Ruxin, were also in the crowd, secretly watching all this. They similarly didn't believe that Kong Shinmu had the ability to hunt 9th firmament sky demons. Kong Shinmu had definitely obtained the 6th grade ice cores from Jiang Tianqi. He had given them to Shi Weiying and Jiang Liuxue. These two vixens seemed to have known about Kong Shinmu's background. They are Jiang Tianqi's men, Yu Ruxin said through gritted teeth. No wonder he didn't run away when Han Xian and Gu Ye was in front of him. Instead, he went to help that Kong Shinmu. So it turns out that he knew about his background and tried to get closer to Kong Shinmu. How shameless. Su Wuji nodded in agreement. Kong Shinmu didn't know about these people's misunderstandings, but it didn't matter. After all, Dragon Ice City was just a passing place for him. Can we start now? Kong Shinmu said to Wei Binghai indifferently as he stood on the training ground. All right, I'll give you a 3-move handicap. If you can defeat me, it'll be my loss. Let's begin. Wei Binghai puffed out his chest proudly. He didn't think much of Kong Shinmu. Unexpectedly, Kong Shinmu shook his head. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly as he said, "Why don't I give you a 3-move handicap? Come. If you can injure me, it'll be my loss." The conversation between the two of them caused everyone in the martial arts practice field to widen their eyes in disbelief. Both sides were extremely confident in themselves in this arranged battle. They wanted to give each other a 3-move handicap. Where did this confidence come from? Young Master Wei is being magnanimous. After all, he's 1 cultivation realm higher than that kid. If he makes the first move, wouldn't he be bullying him? That's right. However, this kid said he would give young Master Wei 3 moves. I can't help but want to laugh. He really overestimates himself. Who does he think he is to give young Master Wei 3 moves? Ha. I'm afraid he can't even take 1 move from young Master Wei. The onlookers immediately began to laugh at Kong Shinmu. From their point of view, Jiang Shenwu was purely putting on an act. If he let Wei Binghai make the first move, even if he lost, he would be able to find an excuse so that Jiang Tianqi wouldn't lose too much face. If they really fought, Kong Shinmu was absolutely no match for young Master Wei. Ha. Wei Binghai also laughed out loud. He didn't expect Kong Shinmu to be so confident, even more so than him. Do you know that you're at LV7 of the God Martial Arts realm, and I'm already at LV8 of the God Martial Arts realm? Wei Binghai stared at Kong Shinmu and couldn't help laughing. The gap of 1 cultivation realm is enough for my talent to crush you. I think you'd better make the first move. Otherwise, I'm afraid you won't even know how you die. You talk a lot of nonsense. Kong Shinmu smiled faintly. Isn't it just a ranged battle? Do you need to take it so seriously? If you want to defeat me, do it quickly. I don't want to listen to your nonsense. You! Wei Binghai really didn't expect that Kong Shinmu wouldn't give him face. Well, if that's the case, you're going to die. A stream of pale green light appeared in Wei Binghai's left and right hands respectively. The 2 streams of light abruptly dispersed, and within the green light, Wei Binghai transformed into a heavenly chill frozen dragon. His body was over 100 zhang long, and he blotted out the sky. Under the green light, he suddenly charged towards Jiang Shenwu. The 2 streaks of green light instantly turned into green arrows, condensing into a rain of arrows that rained down on Jiang Shenwu's location. Go to hell. A confident smile hung on Wei Binghai's face. He seemed to see the scene of Kong Shinmu being shot to death by the green arrows. This was because this dragon martial technique was already one of his strongest moves. He used this killing move right from the start to not give Kong Shinmu any chance to kill Kong Shinmu on the martial arts practice field. However, What happened next shocked him and almost everyone around the martial arts practice field. Magic crystal. Kong Shinmu's figure changed and turned into a pitch-black divine dragon. Purple magic crystal directly appeared and condensed on his body. The green arrow rain fell in an instant and covered Kong Shinmu's entire divine dragon body. However, when the arrows hit the purple magic crystal, they couldn't break through the defense of the purple magic crystal. Countless green arrow rain was easily blocked by Kong Shinmu. There was even a pitch-black devouring power that spread out and swallowed the power of the arrow rain. This greatly increased Kong Shinmu's resistance to the opponent's 2 Earth-level dragon weapons. What? Wei Binghai was stunned on the spot. He had used 2 Earth-grade dragon weapons in his hands to launch this green arrow rain, and he also had the talent of Celestial Chill. He could easily suppress an ordinary cultivator at the 8th level of the divine martial arts realm. How could it be blocked by a mere Kong Shinmu? And it was so easy. This kid. Chapter 40-42. No one had expected that Wei Binghai's first move would be so easily blocked by Kong Shinmu. Jiang Tianqi's eyes also lit up. He had a whole new level of respect for the strength that Kong Shinmu had displayed. It's actually a body-tempering dragon martial technique. It's rare to see a dragon martial artist practicing a body-tempering dragon martial technique now. Jiang Tianqi narrowed his eyes and thought to himself. A body-tempering dragon martial technique was easier to obtain than other dragon martial techniques. However, it was too painful to practice. Generally speaking, there were very few people in the younger generation who could withstand the pain of practicing a body-tempering dragon martial technique. Most importantly, the fighting power of a body-tempering dragon martial technique in battle was not strong, so it was not very useful. If the opponent's attack dragon martial technique had reached a certain level of destructive power, then a body-tempering dragon martial technique would be useless no matter what. It would only be able to linger on for a while. It was better to focus on practicing a dragon martial technique and strive to defeat the opponent before the opponent defeated himself. This was the basic rhythm of a battle between dragon martial artists. However, he did not expect that when it came to Kong Shinmu, it would be completely different. This kid's fighting style seems to be really defensive. Jiang Tianqi nodded to himself. No wonder Kong Shinmu wanted his opponent to make the first move. It was probably because even if Kong Shinmu attacked blindly, it would be very difficult to defeat his opponent. Therefore, he might as well let his opponent make the first move. He would first defend steadily for a few rounds and then find an opportunity to counterattack. Jiang Tianqi's guess about Kong Shinmu could be said to be the closest. However, this was not Kong Shinmu's true thoughts. The current Kong Shinmu really did not put Wei Binghai in his eyes. Wei Binghai was only 1 level higher than him. It was basically impossible for him to injure Kong Shinmu. Why does your attack feel like it's just tickling me? The pitch-black divine dragon body soared above the martial practice field. The green arrow rain was all devoured by him. Following that, the entire divine dragon body suddenly rushed down and instantly arrived in front of Wei Binghai's heavenly freezing dragon. Go to hell! Without any hesitation, Wei Binghai condensed the extreme frost inherent power in his body into countless icicles and violently attacked the pitch-black divine dragon above him. At the same time, he unleashed all of his talents. Ice Spike Sky Splitting Strike. Wei Binghai displayed a 3rd-grade dragon martial skill. This was the strongest inherited dragon martial skill of the Wei clan, a 3rd-grade dragon martial skill. Moreover, he had already cultivated it to the dragon grade. This move was Wei Binghai's true strongest trump card. Once he utilized it, even an opponent that had just stepped into the rebirth tribulation realm would retreat and not dare go head-on against it. At this moment, facing Kong Shinmu, he disregarded everything else and directly used his strongest move, wanting to directly kill Kong Shinmu in the martial arts arena. Unfortunately, Kong Shinmu's strength far exceeded his expectations. The main thing was that Kong Shinmu's body had devoured a lot of frost attribute energy. His resistance against frost attribute energy was extremely terrifying. Basically, when the opponent's power landed on Kong Shinmu, it could only display 10 to 20% of its destructive power. To Kong Shinmu, this was the biggest trump card he could rely on to deal with Wei Binghai. If Wei Binghai had not awakened frost attribute energy, then Kong Shinmu would not have been able to deal with him so easily. But now everything was decided. The Ice Spike Sky Splitting Strike was a 3rd-grade dragon martial art technique. Countless icicles erupted from the body of the Arctic frost dragon, covering the entire martial arts arena. Die! Wei Binghai did not want to be entangled with Kong Shinmu for too long. He decided to kill Kong Shinmu as soon as possible. The icicles filled the sky and a terrifying power erupted in all directions. The surrounding spectators could feel the killing intent contained in the icicles. Young Master Wei's move is really powerful. At the divine martial realm, this move is absolutely unstoppable. A third-grade dragon skill is already powerful. Wei Binghai has cultivated it to the dragon level. It's extremely powerful. With this move, he is already invincible. That's right. The Wei clan manor is indeed one of the strongest factions in Dragon Ice City. This Ice Spike Sky Splitting Strike is extremely powerful. It will definitely be able to kill that kid. Everyone was in a flurry of discussion. They were envious of this move. A third-grade dragon skill was something that many Nirvana Tribulation Realm Dragon Warriors wanted. Although Nirvana Tribulation Realm Dragon Warriors had the chance to hunt ninth firmament demons, it was still quite difficult. Every type of demon beast had different characteristics. To consecutively hunt 10 ninth firmament demons to exchange for a third-grade dragon skill was not something that could be done in a short period of time. How could it be easy to cultivate a third-grade dragon skill to the dragon level? It would take at least 3 to 5 years before it was possible. In the martial arts arena, Jiang Shenwu was faced with a sky full of icicles. The Ice Spike Sky Splitting Strike. This third-grade dragon martial technique had caused the temperature around his body to plummet. Beads of ice had even appeared on the surface of the black dragon's body. The weather was so cold that even the flow of chi and blood in his divine dragon body was not smooth. This Ice Spike Sky Splitting Strike can actually restrict the flow of chi and blood in the opponent's body. Fortunately, I have the power of devouring and am not afraid of this move. Otherwise, I might not have been able to survive this move. Kong Shinmu thought to himself. He now had a better understanding of Wei Binghai's strength. This move was probably Wei Binghai's strongest move, but it was still useless against Kong Shinmu. His entire body was covered in purple demonic crystals. Then, the golden halberd emitted a golden glow that enveloped his black dragon body. However, the countless icicles that tore through the sky landed on the golden glow and purple demonic crystals. They were immediately blocked, unable to break through Kong Shinmu's defense. Kong Shinmu's divine dragon body had an extremely strong resistance to the power of ice. The Ice Spike Sky Splitting Strike could only unleash 10 to 20% of its power against Kong Shinmu. It could not harm his black dragon body at all. Amidst the icicles that filled the sky, Kong Shinmu suddenly roared. Before anyone could react, he suddenly rushed out of the sky of icicles and charged towards Wei Binghai's Sky Chill Frozen Dragon. What? Wei Binghai's expression immediately changed. What was going on with this Kong Shinmu? Why did even the Ice Spike Sky Splitting Strike fail to restrain him? And this kid even immediately launched a counterattack. As for what he said earlier about giving him 3 moves, it was naturally a joke. Kong Shinmu already knew how strong Wei Binghai was. There was no need to waste time with him. In the next moment, he dashed down, and all the power of devouring turned into the Shadow Dragon Fong. Shadow Dragon Fong. It was also a third-grade dragon technique, but it was displayed by Kong Shinmu. At this moment, this dragon technique seemed to be easier for Kong Shinmu to display, and he had a deeper understanding of it. Originally, this Shadow Dragon Fong had already reached the dragon level. Chapter 40-43. A third-grade dragon technique was extremely difficult to cultivate. However, Kong Shinmu had the devouring power. Every time he used the Shadow Dragon Tooth transformation, his comprehension of this technique would increase rapidly. Ever since he had obtained this third-grade dragon technique, Kong Shinmu had been trying to improve it. Now that he had finally reached the dragon level, he had a deeper understanding of it. However, there was still a long way to go before he could improve this dragon technique to the heaven level. It would be difficult for Kong Shinmu to do so in a short period of time. After all, an ordinary dragon martial artist would need at least 3 to 5 years to cultivate a third-grade dragon technique to the dragon level. In such a short period of time, Kong Shinmu had cultivated the Shadow Dragon Tooth transformation to the dragon level. Furthermore, he was able to comprehend it to the next level and advance towards the heaven level. This was quite unbelievable. Countless shadow dragon teeth fell from the body of the black dragon that Kong Shinmu had transformed into. In an instant, they covered the entire body of the heavenly frozen dragon. This is the same level as my ice spike sky-splitting strike. Furthermore, your cultivation realm is one level lower than mine. You're dreaming if you think you can defeat me with this. Wei Binghai snorted coldly when he saw this. His entire body was enveloped by the frost innate ability, and a layer of frost defense barrier appeared around his divine dragon body, protecting him. However, he did not know that this move of Kong Shinmu's was condensed from the devouring power. When the shadow dragon teeth came into contact with the ice defense barrier, they engulfed the ice defense barrier. There was no pause as the shadow dragon teeth quickly engulfed the ice defense barrier completely. Then, the remaining energy of the shadow dragon teeth finally landed on the heavenly frozen dragon's body. As Wei Binghai definitely did not cultivate any body-tempering dragon-type martial techniques, it was impossible for him to completely block Jiang Shenwu's attack. Under the attack of the underworld shadow dragon teeth, even with the ice barrier, he was unable to completely block it. Of course, because Kong Shinmu's cultivation realm was one level lower than Wei Binghai's, his attack could not cause too much damage to Wei Binghai. However, as long as there was a wound, that was enough. The devouring power had already seeped into Wei Binghai's divine dragon body through that small wound. You want to defeat me with just this? You're too naive. Wei Binghai still hadn't realized the seriousness of the matter. He sneered. He could feel that Kong Shinmu's all-out attack had only caused a little bit of damage to him. This little injury didn't affect anything at all. On the contrary, Kong Shinmu's energy consumption was even greater. If this continued, Wei Binghai would definitely be able to obtain the final victory. Originally, he thought that this was certain. However, as his ice spike sky split strike was blocked by Kong Shinmu, he began to take Kong Shinmu seriously. Unfortunately, this level of attention was still not enough. Kong Shinmu's strength was far beyond his imagination. The devouring power began to wreak havoc in Wei Binghai's body. It devoured his talent, flesh, and life essence, and continuously integrated them into Kong Shinmu's divine dragon body. The energy that he had consumed was now recovering at an extremely fast speed. In contrast, Wei Binghai's energy was constantly being weakened. Before he could use the next move of the dragon martial technique to deal with Kong Shinmu, he had already sensed that something was wrong with his body. Ha! What's going on? Wei Binghai's expression changed. He could feel that his energy and vitality were constantly being devoured. His life force was also constantly flowing away in the process of being devoured. This was not a good situation. Ice Spike Sky Split Strike. Without hesitation, he used the Grade 3 Dragon Martial Technique again. A terrifying force suddenly swept up and charged towards Kong Shinmu in the sky. Countless ice spikes with the coldest killing intent swept towards Kong Shinmu. However, the power of this move did not pose much of a threat to Kong Shinmu. It was easily blocked by the Dragon Martial Technique with the Magic Crystal. The Magic Crystal was a purple magic crystal condensed by the devouring power. Now, not only did it have a strong defense, but it could also devour the opponent's energy, thereby increasing Kong Shinmu's resistance to the opponent's power. Without any suspense, Wei Binghai, who had been eroded by the devouring power, was no longer a threat to Kong Shinmu. As the second Ice Spike Sky Split Strike was used, Kong Shinmu turned his hand and used the Shadow Dragon Tooth. Accompanied by countless golden halberds, it fell towards Wei Binghai's celestial freezing dragon. Wei Binghai also felt that his strength was constantly being weakened. However, he could not think of any way to stop this situation. If this continued, he would definitely lose. What's going on? Young Master Wei's strength seems to be weakened a lot. I don't know. Kong Shinmu seems to be getting easier and easier to block young Master Wei's attacks. Moreover, he seems to be in peak condition at all times. What's going on? What kind of talent does Kong Shinmu have? It seems a little strange. Many people could tell that something was wrong with the situation, and it made them feel surprised and incredulous about the battle on the martial arts practice field. Could it be that Kong Shinmu could really defeat Wei Binghai? If this really happened, it would be a big deal in the entire Dragon Ice City. There were many reincarnation realm super powerhouses in the arena, including Jiang Tianqi. At this moment, they also seemed to have understood something. Jiang Tianqi had a faint smile on his face. So this is the power. This talent can devour the power of others for one's own use? Moreover, it seems to be able to weaken the opponent's attack. Many people could see this point. However, no one really understood the power of devouring. Kong Shinmu had only used one of its functions, which was to devour the flesh and blood essence of his opponent. On this point, Wei Binghai should have already deeply experienced it. However, even if he knew this point, it was impossible for him to take any measures against Jiang Shenwu. This was because he would definitely lose this battle. Wei Binghai, are you still not going to admit defeat? If you don't admit defeat, I will devour all the flesh and blood essence in your body, and you will die. Kong Shinmu said faintly as he resisted Wei Binghai's attack. Since he had decided not to kill Wei Binghai, Kong Shinmu naturally would not kill him, lest he caused more trouble. Wei Binghai clenched his teeth. He was the one who proposed this challenge, and he even used the pure spirit snow pill as a bet. This was a draft that could help him settle down for a while, and then directly step into the 9th level of the divine martial arts realm. If he really lost to Kong Shinmu like this, wouldn't it be a huge loss? It should be known that his father had spent a lot of effort to get it for him. How could he be willing to lose to Kong Shinmu like this? If Jiang Tianqi was not a witness, Wei Binghai would not have fulfilled the bet. But now, the spirit-cleansing snow pill had been handed over to Jiang Tianqi. If he lost, it would be absolutely impossible for him to get it back. No, this is absolutely impossible. Wei Binghai was going crazy. He knew that it was impossible for him to defeat Kong Shinmu, but he was really unwilling to lose. Under such circumstances, he really could not think of any way. Chapter 40-44. His father was here. Wei Binghai heaved a sigh of relief, but at the same time, he was also a little afraid because his father was very strict. Now that he had challenged someone in public and lost, he was afraid that his father would not let him off easily when he got back. But since his father was here, Wei Binghai felt that his clear spirit snow pill would be safe. A middle-aged man dressed in a silk robe was walking toward the training ground. He had a square face and a serious expression. His features were very similar to Wei Binghai's. This man was Wei Binghai's father, Wei Longtian. Behind him were many elders of the Wei clan. At this moment, they were all walking toward the training ground with gloomy faces. Obviously, they had received news of Wei Binghai's challenge. Moreover, as soon as they arrived, they saw that Wei Binghai seemed to be completely suppressed. Not to mention winning, he had even suffered serious injuries. It would take a lot of time and money to heal. Trash. Wei Longtian ran over with a gloomy face. Still not admitting defeat? Hearing this, Wei Binghai immediately shouted, "I admit defeat, I admit defeat." As if he had been pardoned, he ran straight toward Wei Longtian, who was below the training ground. This was a sign that he wanted to be protected. Subconsciously, he was still living under his father's protection. This young man on the stage, is his name Kong Shinmu? Wei Longtian did not even look at his son, allowing him to hide behind him. He then looked at Kong Shinmu on the stage. "Sir, your son has lost the challenge. According to the bet, that clear spirit snow pill belongs to me, Kong Shinmu." Kong Shinmu looked at Wei Longtian and said in a humble manner, "Ah, who does this kid think he is? How dare he speak to Wei Longtian like this? He's courting death." That's right. A mere junior should at least use honorifics when meeting Wei Longtian. How dare he be so indifferent? I'm afraid Wei Longtian will bear a grudge against him. I feel that this Kong Shinmu has quite a character. Anyway, he has already defeated Wei Binghai and offended the Wei clan. What's the use of showing respect to Wei Longtian? Everyone began to discuss spiritedly. What they didn't know was that Kong Shinmu had said the same thing to Sacred Dragon Shi Tao back in Dragon Prison City. He even ordered the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon around. After all, the Heaven Awakening Demon Dragon was at the peak of the reincarnation realm. Even the Dragon King was no match for him. Compared to the sky-opening demonic dragon, Wei Longtian was nothing. Wei Longtian was not qualified to make Kong Shinmu use honorifics on him. Moreover, Kong Shinmu would only use honorifics towards elders that he respected, such as the Demon Hunters Association's Jiang Tianqi, or the Dragon Prison Domain's Holy Dragon Shi Tao. The others were his enemies, so why did they have to use honorifics? Therefore, when Kong Xinmu met Wei Longtian, he did not give him any face at all. This made Wei Longtian's face even more gloomy. He felt that this junior Jiang Xinwu was just too bold, which made him feel angry. If he did not teach this brat a lesson, could he still be considered a Saint Dragon expert of the Wei clan? Like Shi Tao of Dragon Prison City, Wei Longtian was the head of the Wei clan in Dragon Ice City. He was also a sacred dragon expert. He immediately snorted coldly, but did not say anything to Kong Xinmu. In his eyes, Kong Xinmu was not qualified to talk to him. Now, Wei Longtian wanted to take back the spirit-cleansing snow pill from Zhang Tianqi, and then deal with Kong Xinmu. After all, he was just a kid in the divine martial arts realm. It would be too easy to deal with him, so there was no need for him to care. Zhang Tianqi, on the other hand, was an existence that Wei Longtian had to respect. Not only was Wei Longtian stronger than him, but Zhang Tianqi had a wide circle of friends and a strong background. He was an important figure in the Demon Hunters Association. Mr. Zhang Tianqi. This matter was caused by my son's ignorance. I spent a lot of effort to obtain that spirit-cleansing snow pill. I hope that you can return it. The Wei clan will be eternally grateful. Wei Longtian turned to the side and said calmly to Zhang Tianqi. Oh! Zhang Tianqi didn't even turn his head. He didn't even look at Wei Longtian. Your son gave this pill to me as a stake in the duel. Since he has admitted defeat, then this medicinal pill belongs to the victor, Jiang Xinwu. What's the reason for you to want to take it back now? If Kong Xinmu was disrespectful to Wei Longtian, then Zhang Tianqi did not give Wei Longtian any face. He did not even look at him. To Zhang Tianqi, a sacred dragon didn't mean anything. This was because he also had the blood essence of a sacred dragon. Some people even said that he was hiding the blood essence of a dragon king, which was on the same level as the Dragon Ice King of Dragon Ice City. Under such circumstances, whether it was the Wei clan residence in Dragon Ice City or the other sacred dragon residences, Zhang Tianqi did not need to care. Originally, Wei Longtian and Zhang Tianqi did not have much contact. Sometimes, the Wei clan would head to the Demon Hunters Association to purchase some items, and the Wei clan would also hand over many demon pills to the Demon Hunters Association. These could only be considered as business contacts. As for the personal relationship between Wei Longtian and Zhang Tianqi, it had never happened. Wei Longtian had originally thought that since he was the head of the Wei clan, Zhang Tianqi would not disrespect him, right? However, he did not expect that Zhang Tianqi would not give him any face at all. In front of so many people, he did not even look at him, and even rejected his request to return the spirit-cleansing snow pill. Wei Longtian wanted to say something, but after some thought, he swallowed his saliva and swallowed his words. If that's the case, I won't disturb you anymore. Wei Longtian said unwillingly. Then he turned around and scolded Wei Binghai coldly. What are you waiting for? Get lost with me. My spirit-cleansing snow pill. Wei Binghai was dumbfounded. He did not expect his father to give up just like that. Cut the crap. Go back and confine yourself. You are not allowed to leave for 3 months. Wei Longtian grabbed Wei Binghai like an eagle grabbing a little chick, and left the training ground. Without a doubt, he did not want to say anything more to Zhang Tianqi, nor did he want to become enemies with the Demon Hunters Association over a spirit-cleansing snow pill. Most importantly, maintaining a good relationship with the Demon Hunters Association was something that the Wei clan had to do. They could not be rude to Zhang Tianqi. Everyone in the martial arts practice field sucked in a breath of cold air when they saw this. They looked at Jiang Xinwu and Zhang Tianqi with envy and admiration. They were too envious of Kong Xinmu. Because the situation just now had clearly shown that Zhang Tianqi was helping Kong Xinmu, and he was willing to offend the Wei clan for it. Did this not mean that the relationship between Kong Xinmu and Zhang Tianqi was not ordinary? You're tuning in to the Xueqi's Martial Arts Saga YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.